Okay. So, welcome to this program. I think, how many of you are trading exposure in cash market segment? How many of you have trading in cash market segment?
Yes, sir. Actually, I think I have majorly theoretical knowledge. I have not seen practically how it works.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
was more keen for practical experience.
Okay.
See that. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Good morning, sir. I deal in equity segment, but not
You deal in
derivatives.
equity segment. Okay. Okay. So you should be happy man now because markets are on the high.
Nowadays, market is actually, we are not understanding. Market is going up, but the share prices are going down. So don't know what kind of
Oh,
correlation.
market is up, share prices are down.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Few of you have exposures into cash market. Fine. So, yeah, I think I'll just put off one of the lights a little early, a little later, so that the board will become more visible because I find a reflection here. So I'll do that. So, so in this, basically, we'll be discussing, options. We'll just touch upon forwards, but basically, we'll be looking into options. So today we'll be discussing, the options, option positions. We'll just run through the microstructure of the market. I'll also take you through the NSE portal to understand, different contracts and how you make some sense out of strike prices or contract expiry, different contracts and different types of option contracts, etc. And finally, we'll also have a discussion with option payoffs. So with that, we'll be ending the session for today, and tomorrow we'll be starting with options. So that's what we have planned. So to start with, yeah, I should be taking the black key is clear for you. Is clear? I think that is clear, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you getting the correct image or are you getting another image?
Correct image, sir.
You're getting the correct image. Right.
Master, can you spotlight yourself so it will be better?
How do I do that? Yeah, I'll just ask the lab to do that. Okay. So, okay, it is around 100. Now we'll just start. So, just to give you a very quick introduction in 5 minutes, basically you all know that we have let us say two segments. One we basically call the cash market segment and the F&O segment as far as we are concerned with exchanges or markets. And what is cash market segment? What is cash market segment?
It deals with equity, I think.
Yeah, basically, it is where you probably pay the cash and you get a particular security in your physical form or into a demat account. You basically can visualize that into two segments. One you call it as where the direct issue is made. What you call it as the initial or the primary market. Is it not? So very recently you had few of the good issues like Zomato and all which came to the primary market raise capital. Is it not? If you remember, Zomato, what was I think it was offered for 72 rupees. I think the listing was at 142 rupees. Is it not? So, primary market is where you the fund seeker, the company, which has some project or proposal, capital proposal, requires certain money. So they would come out to the rest of the world and say that I require money for this purpose. You can be part of it. So if you feel that the proposal made by the company is sensible, you would probably give the money and take the security in your hand. That is what would happen. Most of you would have had some exposure into the primary market also by applying for IPOs, etc. Is it not? So IPO, just to conclude, who are the two participants in IPO? Who participate in IPO market transaction?
The new issue markets.
Yeah, it is basically from an economics point of view, it is a fund seeker and the fund provider, is it not? Or the company which requires a amount of capital, and the rest of the world who has some savings and want to productively park those savings. So these are the two parties who would come into a primary one, right? To further elaborate, how does the company communicate to the rest of the world? How does the company communicate to the rest of the world? Yeah, Zomato, had come out and they have raised capital. How did they communicate to the rest of the world that we want to raise capital for this purpose? No, not through NSE and BSE.
IPO.
Yeah, they basically prepare a document, stating what is the purpose, for which they are going to raise the capital, how it will be utilized, etc. Is it not? We call it the prospectus. So they prepare a document, which has a certain structure as it is required to be prepared by the Securities Exchange Board of India. So they have a particular, standard guidelines for preparing the prospectus, which is not our focus of discussion, but for understanding, let us keep in mind that all those companies, which requires to raise capital, they prepare a document called the prospectus. They publish the prospectus. The rest of the world, which reads the prospectus, those people who find this particular project or the idea has value to generate value in future, they would subscribe to the securities and they will buy it. This is what happens in a primary, right? And again, one more question: why should a company come into the primary market to raise equity shares? What are other possibilities for a company? What are other possibilities for a company? If the company requires capital, what are other possibilities?
Debt markets. Huh?
Yeah, you can also go into a debt market, is it not? You can also go into a debt market, or accounting people can say that they can even have internal funding, without paying the dividend. Whatever the surplus they generate, that would be reinvested back in the company. But that has
Retained
consistency.
earnings.
When we require a huge project, maybe the accumulated or the current profits would not be sufficient. If at all we are retaining it back, we require to raise capital from outside the company. So there would be two possibilities. One is to raise as a debt capital. One is to raise as a debt capital. One second. Sorry, the register wanted the link to join. I'll just share the link with her. Give me 1 second. When we come into the primary market, we are talking about, we could either raise it from within the company, or most of the times when the volume of the capital required is huge, we'll have to go outside the company to raise capital. So again, when we come to that point, there is again another one dilemma. We have two possibilities. One which we call it as borrowing the funds, and another one which we call it as a risk capital. Is it not? A risk capital. So what is the difference between a debt? From a layman's perspective, when you talk about a debt capital or when you are raising a risk capital, what is the difference? What is the difference in risk capital and debt capital? Or rather,
So debt is risk-free. This debt is risk-free.
debt is not risk-free. Debt is definitely risk-free.
Not fully risk-free, but
okay. Relatively lesser riskier, but let us also understand that it is not risk-free. If I am subscribing to a debt capital and the market rate, the interest rate goes up in the market, the value of the debt will come down. The value of the bond will come down. It's not. That the studied bond theorem, is it not? I subscribe to a bond at 8%. After 3 months, the market rate raises to 10%. Obviously, your bond will become lesser attractive. So that is also risky. But then, basically, when we look at it, the character is that debt, that is an acknowledgement of debt and the promise to repay the debt along with whatever interest that I have paid. Promise, is it not? Along with the coupon rate, what I call it, is it not? So that is at least by representation, let us understand that the way the company or the fund borrower or raiser represents that I am borrowing it from you. It implies that I will return it back with interest if it is applicable. Okay, so as a layman, let us understand that debt in that sense always there is an obligation from the part of the other side to return it back. So if they breach the promise, we have legal remedies, for liquidation or having collateral of assets, etc. So there is always to that extent. Let us say yes, that is secured to the extent of the assets the company would have. Also, let us understand that since I promise to repay it back with a particular rate of interest, it also implies that whatever is the ROI of the project, that does not apply on the debt. The ROI is 25% or 30% or 40%. Still, the subscribers to the debt will be getting only whatever is the coupon rate that is mentioned in the bond or the debenture. I think that is also understandable. Now, let us say if it is an 8% bond, how much ever ROI the company would make or the project would make, the debt subscriber will continue to get only 8%. Is it not? You invest into State Bank of India FD, you will be getting 7%. Is it not? Even though the company, even though SBI, the ROI would be 20% or 22%, I would be getting only whatever is agreed upon the at the time where the debt is fixed. Is that clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
coming to risk capital, basically when you come to risk capital, usually you use the term residual capital or equity. Equity means you are being an equal partner in the total capital pool of the company. So in risk capital, what basically means is that it is not a condition where you borrow. The company is not coming and borrowing money from you. Company is asking you to join the promoter in a particular venture, where along with the promoter or along with the existing shareholders, you are also being part of the fortunes and also challenges of the project. So if the company makes 30% ROI, you get a proportionate share of that. It's not. If the company makes a loss of 20%, your capital will also get hit. So when you look at raising capital, definitely within the company and outside the company. Now, when you come to within the company, you always have constraints. So when you to the extent you can borrow or raise the fund. So you come outside the company, then the dilemma is whether you should go for a debt capital or you should go for a risk capital. Is it? So at this point, can you just tell me, what would be the advantage as far as a company? Which route will I prefer? Will I go for a debt or will I go for a raising equity capital? Which would be better for the company?
Sir, raising equity capital.
Equity.
Okay. See, it has more things to be accommodated before we say it is which is good for or bad for the company. It depends upon the existing capital structure, what kind of proposal it is. So if I'm raising equity capital, suppose you all let us say we are 101 members in this group now. 111 members in this group. So we all have contributed 10 lakh rupees and we have raised some capital and we have already in the business. Now we require another 1 crore rupees. So if I go for raising equity capital, what will be the consequence? What will be the consequence? As existing shareholders, I may not be having any marginal benefit because the new fund that comes in, the shareholders of the company, they also have a right to share the profit. So whatever the company is making, I have to distribute it to them. So do I have the existing shareholders? Do I have any marginal benefit? Do I have any marginal benefit? With earlier 1 crore, I was making 30% ROI. Now with the second newly raised 1 crore rupees, again I am making another 30% ROI. So whatever it is, the new shareholders will also have a claim on this ROI. So I may not be having any incremental benefit. So not. You just discuss this with your students when we are discussing capital structure. So not. They would be runs model and all, net operating income approach or net income approach, etc. What would be the advantage if you go with debt capital? What would be the advantage you go with the debt capital? Even though the
Tax advantage.
20%, now I can afford to pay only 8% to the debenture holders. So the remaining 22%, this is what we call the trading on equity concept. So the remaining 22% will come back to the existing shareholders as a additional profit, which over and above which they were drawing earlier. So we cannot say that equity is always better. When you raise equity, the problem is that you are inviting other people to join you as partners. So more number of partners, so the additional profit that is generated definitely get shared among more number of partners. So that is what is called dilution of equity. So that one disadvantage is there. So therefore, you will also look at okay, this project is promising, and I will be getting 30% ROI. So let me borrow at the rate of 8% by issuing a bond. So I'll give only 8% to the bondholder. The remaining 22% I get from the new project can be shared among the existing shareholders. So therefore, there can be an advantage. Is it not? So that has more wider perception that perspectives that you have to keep in mind whether you go for a debt or an equity. As you go for more debt, again another problem is the existing equity shareholders will find more risk in the company. Is it not? Because the firm is having more fixed obligation to pay every quarter as interest. So it has its pros and cons. Our idea or focus is not to discuss the character of the instrument per se, but just to understand that before going to derivatives, we are just briefing cash market segment, trying to understand what is a cash market. Cash market is where you buy the instrument, let it be a debt instrument or equity instrument. You are paying the money and you are getting the instrument in your hand. You are having the ownership of the instrument. So depending upon what type of instrument it is, it will have its own repercussions. If it is an equity instrument, you will have the voting rights. You will have the right to share the profits of the company. You will also be exposed to the risk that any entrepreneur would be taking up. On the other hand, if you're going for a debt capital, you would have the ownership of the debt, but not any voting rights or other privileges in the company. But you will be having a more safer say to get whatever interest is been promised on the instrument. You may not be getting you will not be having a share in the profit, but by and large, to the extent the company generates cash flow, you will be getting a fixed rate of payment. So that is what we understand with the cash market. What is how or why we require to a company requires to come into a cash market to raise capital. Okay. Now, before we go into equity segment, let us also discuss what is a secondary market. So we discuss what is a primary market. Primary market is where the company directly comes to the request or approaches the rest of the world to raise capital. Okay, I want money. Zomato wants money. Zomato prepares the prospectus. The rest of the world reads it. Whoever finds it attractive, subscribes to Zomato, and they raise the capital, and the chapter is closed there. Okay, so that is what happens in the primary market. Now, what happens in the secondary market now? What happens in the secondary market?
The first time issued share will be traded in the stock market.
That is correct. But why we need that particular system? So secondary
Because
market,
because in the primary market it is not it will be matured at the time of liquidations. We cannot.
Correct. See, let us say you have 10,000 rupees of saving every month. So you accumulated the savings for last 1 year. So around 1,20,000 rupees. You saw Zomato coming in with an IPO. You subscribe to Zomato's IPO. Now, what happens with the money? The company takes the money and the company acknowledges you with the share certificate, which you will get it in your demat account. Now, unlike you put your money into SBI, after 3 months, let us say you want your money back. You can always call back SBI and say that, please break my FD and give me my money back. The same day you will get your money back. But what happens if you are given the money to Zomato, or for that matter, any other company in the IPO? What will happen? The companies who are raised capital is not sitting with the cash that you have given them. No? They will convert the cash into their required desired fixed assets. So if Zomato has raised capital for let us say for having more IT infrastructure, all the cash they have raised they will convert it into IT infrastructure. So they do not have the cash assets. The entire cash is converted into certain other assets. So they will not be able to give you back the money. So after 1 year or 2 year or 10 years, you will not get the money back because the money that you are given is already converted into a business asset. So like somebody was saying, we can only expect your money to be received back at the time of liquidation if at all the company gets into liquidation.
Right.
Otherwise, you have no way to get back your money. So that is a serious concern, is it not? I put my money into a particular company. The company is doing well every year, though I am getting good returns as dividend. At some point of time, if I want my capital back, if that is not possible, people will actually hesitate into putting money into the primary. Is it not? So there must be some mechanism where this can be addressed. So what is the mechanism? So what is the mechanism? You invested your money into Zomato. Now you cannot call Zomato and say that I want my money back later. So, but therefore we have another system where, what is that system known as?
Stock market, sir.
Yeah, stock market. So what happens in a stock market?
Buying and selling of shares.
Yeah, in the stock market is conceptualized as a virtual setup where you who already have Zomato share, what will you do?
You have to put
You say that I want
to sell
Zomato
the
let us say I want 50 rupees. So there'll be a new participant who has come in, just got a job, or he has some savings. He did not apply Zomato in the IPO, but he sees that since the IPO Zomato shares are climbing up. Okay, so let me. I call up the company and say that the PR officer of the Zomato and ask, I have some money with me. Can you take this money and issue shares to me? Zomato will say that no, we have already closed the window. Now we don't have any requirement of capital. Unlike a bank, we cannot take money at any point of time. Once the money is raised, that is it. Next time, probably when only there is a new project coming in, we'll come into the market to raise. So
you have to quote the offer price to the in the secondary market,
yeah,
and wait for the other buyer to bid at that price. Then it will be matches. It will be traded. Trade will be executed.
that is correct. So what sir is trying to tell you is, you cannot have a new people who are with savings who cannot now call up Zomato or any other company and say that I want shares. So rather, what you can do is all those people who have purchased shares in the primary market, they can offer the shares to other people who now would like to possess the shares. So I would be say I will be bidding let us say 150 rupees or whatever is the price. So there will be a buyer. If he is comfortable with this price, he will come and take the purchase. This is what typically happens in a stock market. So we have operationally two stock exchanges. What we call it as a Bombay Stock Exchange, and also what we have it as
BSE and National Stock Exchange.
National Stock Exchange. So what does a stock exchange precisely do?
Pardon?
What does a stock exchange precisely do?
Buying and selling of.
This is one of the regulator.
No. Stock exchange is not into regulation.
It provides the platform. It provides the platform
to follow the regulations issued by the regulator. Like
For the secondary sales, sir.
Yes, madam.
It's for the secondary sales, actually, not the first one. Primary.
Yeah. The stock market is what we visualize as secondary market. Now, secondary market is what we conceptualize or we refer to stock exchange. BSE and NSE literally makes the secondary market in our context. That is correct. So, what is the role of this exchange? What does it do?
It acts as an intermediary between the buyers and sellers.
They act as an intermediary. Okay. Fine. See,
brokers are the intermediates.
It would be very difficult for me. Say, for example, I know I invested my money into Zomato, but today mornings urgently I require my money back. Let us say I have to travel somewhere, or I have some medical requirements, or I have some emergency. I want my money back. So it would be very difficult for me to sell my shares. I cannot call my neighbor and say, "Do you want Zomato share?" Maybe he is not into share market, or he is not aware of that, or he has some other plans. So most of the times, it will not be able. I will not be able to sell the securities within my peer group. It may take longer time. So not. I ask my neighbor. The neighbor will say, "Give me 1 week time. Let me study how the company is doing. Then I'll get back." Is it not? So it will not be possible for us to have an directly go and hunt for a buyer, or for the buyer to hunt for the seller. So what the stock exchange basically does is, they gives you platform, they gives you what is called as a trading floor. Earlier, all the people would walk into this trading floor. Is it not? The buyer or the seller, they would walk into this trading floor.
It's called open outcry system.
Yeah, you would have seen it in the movies. It's not so. Yeah, they would say that no, I have 100 shares of Reliance. Okay, I am ready to sell it at 2,000 rupees. So I'll pull it out loudly. So the buyer who hears that, no, okay, I'll say that, okay, I am ready to buy it at this particular price. They will negotiate and finally settle it. This is what happens around the world, and which happened in India also many years before. Now India, we have moved into, we have replaced this system by moving into an electronic trading system. We don't have a physical infrastructure to walk in and say that, like in a street market, shout out saying that, no, okay, I have so many shares of this company, this is the price that I'm willing to pay.
Excuse me, sir, if other participants can mute themselves.
Yeah, please check your mics if you can mute it. Please mute your, yeah. So we rather have a automated trading system. We call it what is it, NEAT national what is it, NEAT National Stock Exchange Electronic Trading System, and BOLT for BSE. So these are basically, now we don't see that flow trading outcry system, rather we have what we call it as the online trading platform. So in online trading platform, what is the role of an exchange? Basically, how does an exchange function? See, there will be millions of people who are traders, and it would be directly for an exchange to deal with these billions of people. It would be very difficult. So exchange has an intermediary called brokers, is it not? Or what you call it as members. So exchange will have a lot of members. Can you give me some examples for members?
Zerodha.
Depository
Zerodha is
participants.
there, Motilal Oswal is there, QGS is there, SBI Securities is there. There are more than 10,000, 15,000, members of what you call it. ICICI Securities is there, okay. HDFC Securities is there, cap stocks are there. So there are a lot of broking firms. So the exchange basically affiliates certain intermediary called the brokers, and exchange basically only have connect till the brokers level. They don't actually come down to the client level. Okay. So suppose you want to sell Zomato. Let us say you are person one who want to sell Zomato. So what do? You don't log into the exchange website, or you don't call up the exchange. Rather, you call your respective broker. Okay, is it not? So let us say your broker is Geojit, or your broker is Zerodha, or your broker is Motilal Oswal or Apollo Sinduri or whatever. You call up the broker and you give certain information. So what is that information? You call it as an order specification. Now, is it not? So what all specification or information will you give to your broker?
Regarding the price.
Yeah, you give something called you first of all you say which is the underlying asset. You want Zerodha. So Zerodha is the underlying asset. Second one is action. You want to sell it. You want to sell it. So you will give what is your order nature? Is it a buy or is it a sell? Then you will give the price. Is it not? Do you want to sell it at 150 rupees, or do you want to sell it at 151 rupees or 155 rupees or whatever? And you will also give the quantity. You will also give the quantity. So this information or order specification is given by the client to the broker. Now, what will the broker do with this? What will the broker do with this?
He'll place and sell order.
He actually forwards his order specification to the exchange. Is it not? So in the exchange server, this order goes and sits in the exchange server. Now, what will the exchange do? So, like I said, there are thousands of brokers who are in the market. So, exchange will find what will the exchange do? Exchange will try to find a matching order for that. So, what will be a matching order? Let us say with the same broker or with another broker. Again, who the underlying asset the exchange will match Zomato, and another person who has also given an order with Zomato. Then he will match. A sell order should be matched with the buy order. I match a sell order with a sell order, there is no trading that is going to take place. You want to sell Zomato, I also want to sell Zomato. If the exchange brings me and you together, there is nothing going to happen because we both are coming to sell Zomato. So exchange will match a sell order to a buy order. Then what will the exchange do? I have given the price as 151. So the seller is ready to buy it at the rate of, the buyer is ready to buy it at the rate of 149. Is it not? So what will happen? Will the trade take place? The seller is willing to sell it at 151 and the buyer is willing to buy it at 149. So will the trade take place?
No. Pending
No.
order.
No, this is what basically an exchange does. Exchange, what it does is, so like you are one of the seller for Zomato, there will be thousands of sellers for Zomato. Is it not? So there will be another person who will be ready to sell it at 152, another person who will be ready to sell it at 153. Is it not? So seller, the exchange will take all the sell orders regarding Zomato and sort it in the order of the best seller for the buyer. Who will be the best seller for the buyer here? Who is going to be the best seller? The person who is offering to sell at the lowest price. If you are a buyer, rather than 153, 152 is better. Better than it is even better, you go to 151. Is it not? So the exchange actually gives you the list of sellers in the order in which it is good for the buyer. And what about the buyers? There will be another buyer who is ready to pay 150. Another buyer who is ready to pay 140. Exchange will again take stock of all the buyers and put it in the order of the best buyer for the seller. Who will be the best buyer for the seller? Who is the best buyer for the seller? Who will be the best buyer? 150 rupees, because
50.
Better than 149. If somebody is offering, bidding at the rate of 150, that will be better for the seller because he'll get a better price. So the exchange now brings into the front 150 rupees and what is it? 140, sorry, 50 rupees. No. 150 rupees. So this is what you probably see in the ticking window, is it not? This is the best offer price, and this is the best bid price. So basically, this is what the exchange does. The exchange brings to forefront the best offer price and the best bid price. So when this comes together, now it is up to the market, up to the participants. Either the seller will reduce the price to 150, or the buyer will increase the price to 151, or there will be a new buyer who will come in and buy at 151, etc. will happen. So that is what you see, ticking in the ticker window of a trading window, is it not? So since there are lakhs of people who are there at any point of time, as at every microsecond, the price will keep on changing because there's a new seller coming, there's a new buyer coming. So this price will be keeping on ticking, and finally then the buy price, offer price, and the bid price gets executed. The trade, the bid price and the offer price get agreeable to each other. Finally, a trade will take. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we discuss in the conventional financial markets. If you have a workshop on stock markets, the microstructure of the stock market, probably especially from the teacher's point of view to the students, we should start with the reason why somebody is raising the capital. What are the various alternatives that we have for raising the capital? What are the pros and cons? If you actually go for internal sourcing, or when you go for debt capital or equity capital, etc. What is the issue of liquidity? Unless the issue of liquidity is addressed, we cannot have a primary market. So therefore, we have a secondary market, which we visualize it as the National Stock Exchange and the Bombay Stock Exchange. And what is the role of this exchange? This exchange only makes a platform, a virtual platform where the buyers and the sellers can come together and represent their orders, sell order or be it buy order. They can come in and put in our orders. And finally, the exchange will match these orders. Order matching is a basic function of an exchange. So they match the buy order of a same underlying asset to the sell order of the same underlying. And finally, the price get agreed, the trade will actually get executed. Okay, this is what happens in a cash market segment. Now we have one more segment in the secondary market, especially in exchanges, which we call it as the derivative segment or the F&O segment. Okay, so before that, anything that you want me to elaborate in the cash market segment at this point of time? Anybody? Anybody?
I want to know about CDSL and NSDL.
What is it?
CDSL and
Okay.
NSDL.
Asking about the
See, when you look at the microstructure of the market in detail, you need to come to know few more other, arms of the exchange, like, clearing houses, depositories, etc. So, which I think we have a session on that with from one of the, I think Vinayak Gunda from NSC. He'll be coming and discussing that, detailing the microstructure of the market, where he'll be discussing about CDSL, depositories, and other arms of it. Madam, please mute your mic. Somebody's mic is on. Yeah. So I'm not elaborating that at this point of time, because I have already planned a session for that. Okay. Okay. Is that okay, sir?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Basically, when you talk about CDSL and all these things, these are basically what we call it as post-trade, or what you call it as clearing and settlement. Once a trade is executed, then there is a series of process that should be completed called as clearing and settlement. For a layman, what is a clearing and settlement process? What is the clearing and settlement process? As far as the seller is concerned, when my trade is executed, what should happen? I should get the money and I should deliver the securities. As far as the buyer is concerned, what should happen? I should get
buyer will buy the product.
I should get the securities and I should be paying the money. So this particular process is called clearing and settlement, which happens after the trading gets executed. Only if the trade gets executed. So for this, in this clearing and settlement process, we have few more other parties coming in to make the process complete, like the bankers, clearing houses, depositories, etc. Okay, so I think that understanding would be enough at this point of time. But however, when you're looking at the microstructure in detail, probably yes, you need to know a little more, intricacies of all those things, which will be discussed by Vinayak. Okay. Okay, basically this NSDL or CDSL, what they do is, at the end of the day, they have to clear the outstanding obligations, both in funds as well as securities for each group. So that's what they are doing. So that I think we have a separate session on that. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Clear.
I'll ask him to highlight CDSL while he's discussing. Okay, CDSL and NSDL.
Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay. Anything else that you would want me to discuss at this point of time before we go into F&O?
Sir, actually, when a buyer or when a seller offer the price to the market,
Okay.
it will be in the trading floor. So it will be in the trading floor for how many times? Till if it is not matched, if it is not mature, if it is not matched.
We're talking, see, technically, see, once you give an order, it will be usually our this thing is till cancel.
But when it will be cancelled, sir? It will be in the trading floor for some time.
This book till cancel, which means it will be available till you cancel. So by the end of the day, it automatically gets cancelled. But there are certain brokers who gives you internally the algorithm to have the order again initiated tomorrow morning. But then otherwise by default usually the orders are.
Sir, if the clearing and settlement process will be done plus T plus 2 days, then cancel will be T plus 2 days, sir?
No, sir. No.
I think so.
The clearing and settlement happens after the order is executed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if your order is executed today, after the market closes today, the clearing and settlement process will get initiated.
Sir, actually, if I offer to sell, that means my share will be debited.
Okay.
So, and it will be credited to the clearing to the exchange. The exchange will be managed whether it will be executed or not. That means it will find the buyers till it is executed.
No, sir. It is not like that. See, sir, when the trade is executed, the exchange has found for a buyer, the exchange has found the seller matching according to the criteria. So when it is matched according to the criteria, the trade gets executed. Okay, suppose I put an order to sell Axis Bank at 790 800 rupees, and I were ready to buy it at 800 rupees. So the order gets matched and it gets executed. Now only what is left is from my side, the security should go to you, and money should come from you. And for your side, the security should come to you, and the money should come out of you. This particular process happens immediately by evening today once the market is. So once the market is
Sir, if at the evening it will be executed, then if the closing price of the today will be not same with the opening price of the next day.
No. So the price that you will be obliged to buy it at the rate at that point of time when your trade is executed. Say for example at 11:58, if the price is of a Axis Bank is 800 rupees 50 okay, whatever happens at after that, let us say at 3:30 the price is let us say 802 or 802 or whatever. So the price is which is the price at which the trade is executed for. So if at 11:58 you bought Axis Bank at the market rate, or you gave the order to buy it at 850 rupees, yes, at this rate, if the order has got executed, you will be required to pay 800 rupees 55 for the number of shares you have bought, and I will be getting the sales revenue at the realization at the rate of 800 rupees 55. The price will keep on increasing. That is not your botheration. The rate at which the trade is executed is imposed upon.
No, sir. My question is that at the time of opening of the market, the rate is different.
Okay.
If suppose today's evening the price will be suppose 800, but tomorrow at the time of beginning of the market that rate will be 750 or 802 or 850. So
okay.
my point is that some order will be in the trading flow and it will be executed. It will find the other counterparties offer or the bid. At the time of opening of the market, it will be executed as per the exchange is said. Actually, I am doing that business. So this is the actually I think this will be happening.
I'm not getting exactly what was your point.
Sir, actually, my point is that today at the end of the market, if it is 1200,
okay.
but next day at the opening time of the market, it will be 1250.
Okay.
1250 means it is some offer or some bid will be in the lied in the market.
Okay.
And it will be executed when it finds another counterparty. It will be suppose buyer and suppose offer and it will match at that time. It will be executed.
Okay.
It will take some time to execute that order to be executed.
So there is no time lag for execution. So once the order is matched, immediately the order will be executed. Only clearing and settlement will require time. Okay. See, once you are given an order for 800 rupees and 100 number of Axis Bank, you want to buy it. So
I'm not telling about the intraday market.
Yeah.
In the intraday market.
Specific case only. So if I would be ready to sell, some number of Axis Bank again at 800 rupees. So immediately the exchange finds a seller. Immediately this trade will get executed. So once it executed, we are bound by the price at which we have agreed to buy and sell. So whatever price that rises or falls later, that is not something that you are bothered about. You will be always bound by this price. Okay. I hope I've made it clear. If you have not got it properly, maybe you can just call me in the evening. I can discuss and elaborate on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
The clearing and settlement is taking T+2 days. Why? It is basically because we earlier had T+7 days. So as we have real time settlement etc. coming in, it has come to T+3. Now it is T+2. So even then why it is taking some time is because for example, see, let us say your shares are in the depository maintained by the NSDL. Somebody else's shares will be sometimes made by depositories maintained by BSE CDSL. Okay, so when the clearing and settlement process should take place, you should get the shares or securities from a particular depository, and that should be transferred to the buyer. And similarly, the money from the seller, should be money from the buyer should be taken from his bank account, and that should be routed to the seller's bank account. This process is what is actually taking this particular time. Probably, as we have, more real-time settlement getting, into securities, depository accounts also, probably that can also be a real-time settlement. Okay. So that is nothing like, in fact, let us understand that we are moving into real-time settlements. So now, earlier, you would have gone with a banking company where you would have found the banking companies having, the clearing time. It would take 1 week clearing time, 2 week clearing time, or 2 days clearing time, etc. Interbank checks would take time. So it requires a physical settlement between the banks. Now, when we have real-time settlement that is happening immediately, RTGS or NEFT, we can have the settlement on the spot or within a very short span. So exchange is also approaching towards that. Probably in another 3-4 years of time, we can expect that we will have an end of the settlement. Okay. So let me just pause at this point of time, and let us. It would be time for the inaugural session now. So I think the dignitaries have already joined. So the director has joined. Bina Madam Registrar has joined. I think Jagdish sir, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Jagdish sir, good morning. Sir, Bina Madam has joined. Andhra Gudam sir has joined.
Madam. Good morning, madam. Madam, good morning.
Yeah, Madam is there.
Madam, good morning, madam. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Yeah.
Madam, 2 minutes, Andhra Gudam will join. Madam, 2 more minutes, madam. He will join 11 o'clock.
I'll wait. I'll wait.
Sir has joined.
Yeah, get only 125. What about other participants?
Sir, we have 200 registrations. Usually what we find is the average For the ACT, the average final participation turnout is around 40%. Over we have around 60%. So usually around 120 is the usual number who finally turns up. So one problem with the ACT, this thing is that they call up the program for the entire 1 year. So people who register, maybe in the January for a December or September course, by that time, usually it's too long a period that they will have some other engagements at that time. They'll finally not be able to.
The problem is other participants they are unnecessarily. Otherwise, other interested could have they are not registered and joining that they are losing the seats.
Jagdish sir, sir, and the students sir is joining. Okay. Okay.
He will join immediately.
Yeah.
He will join now.
He's joining up. Veena madam, 1 minute, sir is joining. Sorry, just we had 2 minutes delay.
It's okay.
In fact, we started the session at 10 o'clock, madam. We are having the inaugural session at 11 a.m.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll wait.
Yeah, he's joining. So. Answer?
No. Good morning, Antakuda sir. Good morning, Antakuda.
Good morning, Professor Jagdi.
Okay, we can start.
Yeah. So, good morning, all of you.
Register madam is joined.
Yes, sir. Meera madam has joined. Meera madam has joined. So, good morning, all of you. Our special guest, Andragutan sir from Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode, Dean of Faculty Development. We have our Honorable Registrar, Veena madam. We have our Director, Jagdiraj sir. So I welcome all of you to this humble function. This is, in fact, the 5th FDP in derivatives which we are conducting. And it's the second FDP under the ATAL scheme. Earlier, we had a FDP in July, which was an elementary program. So this is the advanced program in financial derivatives. We had around, 200 registrations. Usually, we have around 100 participants, 120 participants who usually complete the course. So I think today we have around 124 participants who have finally joined the course, and we are having a 5-day program. In fact, I think we have the participants from almost all the states, and most of them are faculty members. We have practitioners. We have, I think, few research scholars also. So on behalf of the School of Management Studies, first of all, let me welcome our special guest, Andakutan sir, to this function. Sir, good morning and welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Let me also welcome our Honorable Registrar Bina Madam. In fact, Bina Madam is very encouraging in initiating any programs like MDPs, FDPs, or any research programs. So only I had met her a couple of times, and all those purpose when I used to meet her was for requesting a forwarding letter. Madam was very encouraging and used to support all such endeavors. Thank you, Madam. Welcome to this function.
Thank you, sir.
Jagdish sir is again another pillar of our department who motivates. Keeps on motivating and following up regarding anything that we suggest at some point of time.
Good morning, sir, and really sorry for little late, sir.
Madam, Jagdish sir, welcome to this function and thank you for all your support. Welcome, sir. I also welcome all the faculty members who have joined this function from School of Management Studies. Since we have a long list, I am not able to pick the names. All the faculty members who have joined this function, welcome. I also welcome all the participants who are an important stakeholder of this program. All the participants, there are senior teachers, there are professors. So all the participant traders, industry practitioners, all are welcome to this program. Now, may I request Jagdiraj sir to take over the session. Jagdiraj sir.
Okay. Good morning, one and all. Respected Professor Andakutan Dean of Faculty Development, IIM Calicut. Respected Madam Registrar, Dr. Meera, Dr. Rajesh, my respected colleague Dali Pavlos, and the other participants. Actually, I feel very happy and proud to be a part of this the consecutive FDP on the financial derivative. Thank you, Rajesh, for organizing this wonderful FDP on financial options and strategies. The advanced of previously we conducted the basic program on the financial derivative. Actually, we got a very good recognition and appreciation from the participants who attended the previous program. Even the same participant repeatedly attending the FDP programs on the financial derivative, because the Rajesh Krishna is one of the very good expert faculty in this area. His deliberations very well accepted by all the participants attended the previous FDP. Thank you and congratulate Rajesh for organizing this wonderful FDP, and I request you to keep on continuing organize such programs. Before going to my things, I thank Dr. Andakutan. Actually, he was the colleague at the SMS. Now he moved to the IEM. He's doing very well there. He's on the pillar to the, I can say, the pillar to the IEM Calicut. And we are very happy about that, because he's an alumni as well as the faculty of SMS. So I thank you, Andakutan, for accepting our invitation to inaugurate this wonderful FDP. The respected, next I thank on behalf of, as a director, I have to thank both of them. The respected Madam Registrar, Dr. Meera Ma'am, she is always supportive. Whenever we send any without any hesitation, she used to approve all the things and extend whatever help possible to at any point of time. So thank you, Madam, for accepting the invitation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You know, the SMS is one of the oldest business schools started along with the older generation IEM. We are offering all the facilitation in the management areas also. So you are all very lucky to get this admission to this FDP program, and hope you all get benefited the deliberations in the next 4 days. And definitely you will enjoy these sections, because the Rajesh is that much expert in that area. So I am not going to the details of the financial derivatives or the other inauguration. The Andakutan and other speakers will explain the things. So once again, congratulate the Rajesh and welcome all the participants to this wonderful FDP for accepting our invitation and join this program. We are planning to conduct similar FDP in future also, as in the 50th year of the CUSAT. We already schedule around more than 10 FDP in the different areas of management also. So we will send the invitation to you people also. You can join. All very well at the FDP plan. So once again, welcome to this wonderful FDP of the participants. Thank you very much. Rajesh?
So thank you, sir. Now, can I request Andakutan sir, Dean, International Management Kozhikode, to deliver the inaugural address. Sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind invitation, and respected Registrar Ma'am, Professor Jagadiraj VP, Director, School of Management Studies. It's always a pleasure to associate with any activity organized by my alma mater. Not only that, I did my MBA at School of Management Studies, Cochin University, 30 years back. I did my PhD also there, and I was a faculty there for a few years. So that is when I got this opportunity, and then I moved to IIM Kozhikode. So more than 50 years old, great institution, which has produced quite a lot of great managers and academics. So whenever there is this invitation to associate with the School of Management Studies in whatever capacity it is, it gives me a sense of nostalgia and a sense of privilege. When I was a student, we used to look up at many people who used to come and meet us. So now that I get an opportunity, I consider this my privilege. Now, the subject derivatives is something that I am not an expert in. Even though I learned many finance courses while I was doing my MBA, subsequently I moved to marketing. I worked in marketing, then I started teaching marketing, then I did my PhD in marketing. So even though derivatives is a very challenging area, very fascinating to study, nowadays what happens is this is the age of micro specialization or maybe nano specialization. So when I started my teaching, we had very few teachers. So what happened is that we were expected to be a generalist. So I had the opportunity to teach operations management, quantitative methods, marketing, organizational behavior. Not that I wanted to be a jack of all trades, but those days business schools were very small with a few faculty, and there was no choice but to be a generalist. But then the development of knowledge that happens in some of the areas is so fast that it is impossible for any mortal, any ordinary human being to claim expertise in any of the broad areas. So even though nowadays I'm a professor of marketing, I don't think I can qualify to say I know marketing. Instead, I can say maybe I am an expert in a very, very minutest area where I get the time to do the reading, to do the research, and to do the teaching. The reason is that unlike 30 years back or 50 years back, there are a large number of scholars coming into management as an academic discipline. They are all advancing the frontiers of academic research. The second reason is that there is a strong professional practice. Some of the brightest guys and girls from some of the best institutions all over the world are getting into the practice of management. And I think derivatives and generally the quantitative side of finance management is an area where some of the brightest talent is being attracted. Now, if you look at where is it that some of IIM Kozhikode's brightest students would like to go, some of them want to be consultants, but many of them want to be in financial analytics. That's what they want to. Now, is it only from business school backgrounds that students come into these areas? No, I know PhD in physics, PhD in economics, PhD in mathematics, who's working in this area. The kind of rigorous training that they have received over several years so that they are very capable of doing abstract thinking. Because often, if you want to do research or if you want to practice, you should be capable of advanced thinking. You should be able to imagine the reality with symbols. It is not concrete. Unlike you are selling a widget, well, you are able to understand what you are doing, but This is more complex. You need a grasp of mathematics. Mathematics allows you to think in terms of symbols, think very in abstract terms, and then relate that to the data that you are getting. So not only business school students, but even PhDs in physics and computer science and mathematics are getting there. So therefore, the practice which we have is probably as advanced or even more advanced than the teaching that we have. So a couple of days back, I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues who is now teaching finance in one of the leading IIMs in the country. He was saying that he's doing some consulting work for a company in this area. And he says that some of the brightest young minds, the kind of work they do, well, it is really advanced, and he learns a lot by interacting with them. Now we have data, we have powerful computers, we have user-friendly softwares. So the practice is expanding its frontiers. So as teachers who are interested in this subject, we have to continuously keep ourselves updated. That is why teaching is a very challenging job. When I chose teaching, well, there were not many who were interested in coming to teaching because there were disadvantages that you have to take a pay cut. The salary levels were very poor. And the teachers had social status, but then teachers were not economically very well off. But now the situation is different. The financial position of teachers is better, but at the same time, the challenges of that profession is a lot more than the time when I came to teaching. You have to remain updated. You have to remain on the frontier. Now, there is a globalization that is happening in our academic world, right? We had only our library to choose. Now, students can learn from the best faculty anywhere in the world. You must be familiar with it. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. If you want to learn matrix algebra, you can learn from Gilbert Strand. You don't need to rely on the old books in your library, or you don't have to rely on your professor. You can learn from the world's best. If you want to learn machine learning, there are lots of choices. Most of the universities are making available their contents online. The videos are online. The books are online. And if your computers are not good enough, it is possible that you don't have to buy a computer yourself anymore. You can log in and you can pay money and you can work on the cloud using GPU if you want, using CPU if you want. Nothing is a limit anymore. So there is a true globalization that is happening. So we are not restricted by the resources. Our students are also not restricted by the resources, isn't it? Our students also have the same access to resources. We have professors sharing their videos online. We have Khan Academy doing their programs online. If there is a complex construct like gradient descent, some of you may be familiar with it. I don't understand gradient descent. So what do? I can understand. There are various ways in which these are simplified by using animation, right? There's a lot of work that is happening in instructional design to make the complex abstract ideas accessible to people. So as teachers, we are not only competing with other teachers, we are also competing with a large number of very talented professors all over the world and a large number of organizations like Coursera and edX, which make their content available to our students all throughout. So this is the globalization that we have. So to ensure that we remain in our profession, to ensure that we keep up with the pecking order, to ensure that we are leaders of our domain of knowledge, what we should do is we should remain updated. It is not a choice anymore. It is not a choice anymore. Our students as well as us are living in a very transparent, open society where nobody can restrict access to knowledge. So that is the context in which development FDPs becomes very, very relevant. Of course, you can Google, you can watch video, you can read a book, but there is nothing better than learning from someone who has went through this process. So it is always good to have someone to guide you. And FDPs are supposed to provide this opportunity. I am so happy to know that there are 125 odd participants in this program. I believe that you are motivated by the quest to advance your learning and not just limited by the 5 days that it would appear on your resume. resumes are important, but beyond that, the only takeaway that you have in these programs is not those points you put in your resume. I have attended a program, but the learning that you take away. So I wish this program, and I wish Cochin University and School of Management Studies, my alma mater, and the organizers of this program, all the very best. And I wish you that this program will be successful, and the success of this program will motivate you to do a lot more of programs. Thank you again for this opportunity. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Professor. Rajesh?
Yes, thank you, Andakutan sir. In fact, a very appropriate message, especially where the participants are, most of the participants are teachers. In fact, sir was talking about specialization. Now, when you look at from the practitioner's perspective, also, I have enough friends who are earlier who used to say into trading, but now it is not only into options, but probably they go into the specific saying that I only trade in, I only look at money, keep tracking banking companies, or probably mid-cap banking companies, or there are even people who only specialize in one or two, three underlying assets, so that they get the pulse of any slight changes that will happen in the market from the technical perspectives, technical movements. So specialization, yes, as we talk about a domain of knowledge by itself, though it is an ocean. Even when we take a small drop out of it, there is even scope for actually specializing into that and becoming an expert. It was very thoughtful message that you have given. So thank you for giving this address on the 5th ATAL FDP organized by the School of Management Studies. Thank you, sir. May I invite our Honorable Registrar Bina Madam. Bina Madam, please, I welcome you to offer the felicitation for the program. Also, I once again thank you for the support and encouragement that you have given for various programs like this. Madam, please, I invite you for.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh Krishnan, for your kind words, and I thank all the members of School of Management Studies for having me at this special inaugural function. Respected Dr. Professor Jagadiraj, VP, Director, School of Management Studies, our chief guest of the day, Dr. Andakutan B. Unithan, Dean, Faculty Administration and Development, IIMK. I'm glad to know that he is also an alumnus of this university, and all other esteemed faculty members, special guests, and participants and students. As we all know, CUSAT is celebrating its 50th Golden Jubilee anniversary this year, and a year-long programs of events, like both academic and non-academic, has been organized to celebrate what the university has achieved over the last 50 years. And in this context, I really appreciate and congratulate the School of Management Studies for taking initiative to conduct the out, applicable to almost all facets of life. And I also understand this is the 5th FDP on the same topic for during the last 1 year, conducted by the School of Management Studies. And this is quite interesting that it is made possible while the pandemic has been a major challenge in running our institutions. And of course, we can understand, or we can realize that this is possible only by the online mode, which has enabled us to conduct such programs in a more democratic way. Like it is easy for more of the participants to join and then bring down the cost of delivery, etc., etc. And the pace at which we have shifted from the normal mode to the special digital mode is very amazing, I think. And in this context, one more thing which I want to add is that the more important requirement or the most important requirement in higher education sector is to improve the quality of our institutions. And to improve the quality of the institutions, what is the must is the quality of the faculty members, quality teachers. And most of our institutions face problems or challenges in finding out the quality teachers. And once we get good teachers, the upskilling of them and for further development of them is also very essential, or it is a need of the hour. And it is at this context that such faculty development programs become more handy, I think. And also, as far as CUSAT is concerned, we have more courses with more of specializations and professionally oriented, which needs constant and regular interaction with the professionals and experts in domains, especially from industry. And I also want to stress on the point is that the industry is always a little more ahead of the academia in many of the areas. And it is the, the need of the institution or the academia to catch up with the demand of the industry. So in this context, I think the FDP programs organized by the Department of School of Management Studies will further help strengthen such industry-institute interactions, which are mutually beneficial. And I'm sure that School of Management Studies is coming up with more of faculty development programs in the near future, and I wish all the best for the effort taken by them to share their resources and expertise to both the students and the faculty as well. And wishing this program the very best, and I think you'll all have a great learning experience through this program. I thank all the organizers once again, and thank you. Wishing you the best.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Bina, madam, for those words. I'm afraid whether Professor Saji sir has just got disconnected. Saji sir, are you there? Saji sir was supposed to deliver the order of thanks. Saji sir, I think he just got disconnected. He'll be joining, but anyway, for the for finishing it in time, let me deliver the vote of thanks also. Since Professor Saji has just got disconnected, he was there. So on behalf of the School of Management Studies, I thank Andakuten sir for addressing the participants in this FDP. So your words were really thoughtful. It is encouraging for the, it is very encouraging for the participants, especially regarding the importance for specializing and super specializing, which will actually add on marginal knowledge to the existing body of knowledge. So thank you, sir. I would also remember at this point of time in 2007, the first FDP that I attended in derivatives was at IM Kozhikode. It was administered by SSS Kumar sir. Well, I think that was the first sessions that I attended in derivative segment. Anyway, sir, thank you, thanks a lot. Andakuten sir is in fact specialized in marketing and also in the methodology area. He has a lot of programs offered in research methodology, especially structural equation modeling, etc. I have attended his SEM programs at the Cochin campus, I think a couple of years before. So thank you once again, sir. I also thank our Honorable Registrar. Madam, thank you for your felicitation. I hope we will be able to keep up your expectations. and we'll try to have more programs in this domain. And also, I think School of Management Studies also coming up with a faculty development program in simulations, which were in our plan for a long time. But I think that is now taking off. Probably by October, November, we should be able to launch the first FDP in business simulations, which we are also offering it as part of the regular course curriculum for our management students. So that is also in line. I thank Bina Madam for all the support and encouragement. I thank our dear director Jagdish sir for his continuous support, follow-up, and also his guidance in conducting any programs, FDPs or MDPs, or even other projects. He keeps personally following up and keeps support. He keeps on inquiring about any facilities, resources, etc. that is required to see that this comes into a logical end and finally good value addition for the participants. So Jagdish sir, I thank you for your professional approach you take for encouraging such programs. I also thank all the participants who have taken their time, put their trust into this program and has joined this faculty development program. I wish that we'll have a good learning over the coming 5 days. I thank all the participants. I thank all the faculty members of School of Management Studies for joining this function. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Andakota, sir. Hello, Andakota. Andakota, actually,
thank you.
Andakota, actually, the tenure rate around the adult is 40%, 40 to 50% only. So last time also we got more than 125 students participate. This also 125 students.
Thank you.
Because of this appreciation they are getting from the participants. So now the very good program in financial derivatives, and Yagesh is very good expert in that area. That is why we are getting this much response.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Andakota, sir. Thank you, Andakota.
Thank you, Bina madam.
Okay, Ragesh. Thank you. Yeah. You continue. Okay.
Yeah. Bina madam, I think that is.
Okay.
So I think and now we can take a 15 minutes break as per the schedule. We can come back at 11:45. So I think we were without a particular structure, we were just trying to discuss, what financial markets, primary and secondary markets are. So that we can have a consensus of mind, so that we can start off discussing the next topic. So once we come back, let us plan as to at what point we'll start derivatives. If some of you require some basic.
Sir,
yeah.
How the attendance will work? I mean, the procedure for the attendance.
Automated, sir. I think Zoom will give the attendance report for end of the day.
Okay. On the end of the day.
We'll lose so much of time if we keep calling the road, because it's around 120 people, and everybody should put on their mic, and so it will be difficult. So I think it is automated, so we can take the attendance from the. That's all.
Through Google form or something, sir?
No, sir. It is automated, sir. Once you log in and log out, sir, that is automatically recorded in the system. So we can download a report. That's not an issue. You need not worry about giving the Google form for every session.
Right. So once we are logged in, we have already.
Yeah. It is automated. Your attendance is already being recorded.
Okay. Sir. Thank you.
Okay. So I think next session we are supposed to start the introduction to derivatives. So shall we start with the options, or some of you want discussion on forwards and futures?
Direct to options.
Yeah, options.
So we can start with options, sir.
Okay.
Sir, a brief discussion could be done.
Okay.
So maybe a brief description would be enough. Okay, so we'll just have a very brief discussion, maybe 10-15 minutes, as to just start up with forwards, and then we'll come to options. So at it is 11:35. So we'll take a 15 minutes break. By 11:50 we can start. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So by 11:50 we'll start. So you need not log out. You can just put your mic and cameras on hold, and you can just have a break and come back. I am also not logging out the meeting. I'm just putting it on hold. By 11 for after 11:45, I'll be available. Till by 11:50 we can start. Shall we stop here?
Yes, sir.
Rakesh sir, do we have to join for the same link in the afternoon?
Yeah. All sessions will be in the same link.
Same link
All
for
sessions
all the
will be
5
in the
days.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
sir. Thank you so much.
can you save the same link? Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Surely, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, if we get disconnected and we log in again, will it affect the attendance?
I'm not sure about that, but it should not have restriction on it. It may not. Yeah, I think that should not be a
Sir,
problem.
last time we were receiving the link, right? But this time it's not there.
Which one, Mish?
Attendance link.
No. This time I'm not giving link because that distract the participants. All of you are keenly looking in the chat box as to when the link comes. The attendance is only secondary. It's learning is what is more important. So I think we'll take it by system will automatically take it.
That's.
We are not having links for attendance. That is automatically taken by.
Yeah. Sir, actually, I'm attending this FDP for the first time.
Yeah.
So system will be like we will attend, we will listen, and then how it is going to be evaluated. So
But
we will have
evaluation
to-
that on the last day we have an multiple choice question examination.
Okay, sir.
So that exam assessment will be on the last day. Okay, because if we have assessment by presentation and all, 200 participants presenting, learning will not happen because that consumes the majority of the time. So we'll have the majority of the time for discussion. On the last day, we'll have the assessment. You need to have 75% attendance for qualifying for the certificate. That automatically goes to the ASRT portal. Do not be worried about that. Yeah.
Sir, can we have recording of these lectures also?
All the recordings will be uploaded in the ATAL portal, madam. I'll also share it to you on the last day.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And sir, one more request. Also share over our FDP group, this recording links if you can share.
Yeah, I'll share it, but I share it. By mistake, I
that-
think for a few minutes I did not press the recording button, but otherwise it is there. It will be shared to you.
Yeah. It becomes very handy if you share over a WhatsApp group.
Oh, no issue. I'll share it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
It's the same thing like a YouTube link, right? Like last time.
Yeah.
It was available.
Yeah. So then we'll meet at 2:30.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, link will be same.
Same link. Same link. Same link.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we can start now. So see, in the morning session we were discussing see the basic forms of this thing, including options and futures and forwards. So now moving on to options. See, before even we discuss options, we need to understand, like we were looking at forwards and futures. There is again something you need to understand with futures as far as a trader or as far as a hedger is concerned. What kind of anxiety that you may have while you are taking futures. Okay, now see, we were talking about the obligation of the buyer and the seller. So what is the obligation of the buyer and the seller? I'm sharing my screen. You can just pin my screen. So as far as the buyer is concerned, and as far as the seller is concerned, so what are the obligations, once you enter into a futures contract? What does he have? What does the buyer have with him? Think of the farmer. What did the buyer? Farmer is the seller. So what did the farmer gain by entering into the contract? Or what is the power for him when he enters into a contract? He has a right to sell the underlying asset, that is paddy rice, at the rate of strike price, is it not? This is what the the seller has. And what about the buyer? Has the right to buy the underlying asset at the strike price. What is, both the parties are having. The buyer is having the right to buy the underlying asset at the strike price, be whatever be the spot price on that particular day towards the expiry, or the seller has the right to sell the underlying asset at the strike price. Is it not? So much is agreed?
Sir, in case of futures, we should write it like right obligation, right obligation. As well as the
I'm
obligations
talking
are
about the
also
right
there.
now. I have not come to the obligation. I only spoken about the right.
Because if we use only the right, isn't it like it will sound like options?
No. I have only mentioned regarding the right. I have not come to the obligation. So I'm coming to that. So that's why I asked. So far, is it clear? The right is applicable for the buyer. The right is applicable as far as he is concerned. He can buy the underlying asset at the strike price. And as far as the seller is concerned, he has the right to buy the underlying. He has the right to sell the underlying asset at the strike. Also, another implication is that he also has the obligation to buy the underlying at the strike price, and has the obligation to sell the underlying asset at the strike. So when you're looking at it, see, a buyer has a right as well as he has an obligation. Similarly, here also he has a right and the obligation. Okay, so now what is that you are not happy with both the parties? What will be that both the parties will not be happy with? Suppose the November price, November spot price is 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. So can you just tell me the payoff for the buyer? Which is buyer? Buyer, you call it as the long, right? Call it as the long, and you call it as the short, no? Seller's position.
So strike price is 30?
No. Strike price is how much? The strike price was how much? The strike price was 30.75. If those are not using the mic, please put the mic on mute. The strike price is 30.75. So now can you tell me the this thing payoff for both the parties? What will the buyer get here?
Sir, negative 2.75.
Yeah, the buyer has a right to buy it at the strike price 30.75. But understand, it is not that he only has the right, but also the obligation. Remember, if he fails to uphold his obligation, remember the exchange will take the margin money and make the net cash settlement. So he completes his contract duly or he defaults. The buyer and the seller will always have their implication because their margin money is with the exchange. So there is no question of any advantage with defaulting, right? So Here the buyer, how much is, he has the right to buy the underlying asset 20.75, but however the underlying asset is only 28.28 rupees. So here he will have a notional loss. How much is the notional loss?
Negative 2.75.
This minus this, the strike price. This minus the strike price. This is not. See, we discussed earlier this this notional loss is not a matter because why is it he is not worried about the notional loss? Exporter is not worried about this notional loss. Why? Because his profit is actually not from at the rate he is procuring, but he is actually having the he's already having a contract where he can sell the right at the rate of 70 to a client in the US. So probably he does not actually he is worried about any of such notional losses. So if you just drag it down, needs to be please no. Okay. So this will be the position for the buyer. Buyer means exporter. Huh? Remember the buyer is the exporter. As the price goes up, you will make a notional profit. As the price goes down, you will make a notional loss. And what about the seller position? Suppose you are purely a speculator. Let us understand that you are not an exporter. You don't have any client to supply, but still you want to take a chance on your prediction. You simply assume that the market price will go down, or you assume that the market price will go up. Accordingly, you want to speculate. As a speculator, you are intervening into the market. Okay, well, then what would be the payoff for a seller? What does the seller have? Seller has a right to sell it at the strike price, but he is also obliged to sell it at the strike. It's not. So, what is the strike price? 30.75. Huh? So he has a right to sell it at the strike price. This minus the not. So this will be the payoff for a short position. Yeah. Is this point clear to you? This will be the futures payoff for a buyer and a seller, is it not? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We are not talking about options, we are only talking about futures now. Is this clear regarding the futures payoff?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, see, so here what is actually that is not keeping you very happy? What is not keeping you very happy? Suppose let us say the price goes to 60 rupees. Huh? The price goes to 60 rupees. What will happen? See, there is a huge loss for the seller. Huh? And if the price falls down to 20 rupees, what happens? What happens if the price falls to 20 rupees? There's a huge loss for the buyer, is it not? So, in the construct of the contract, what is not keeping you happy? You always enjoy the right? You have the right to buy it, fine. But when you have the obligation, that can actually sometimes take your position into a loss. Is it not? So, what I'm trying to tell you is, you would have been simply happy had you you would have been happy had you not had the obligation to buy, as far as the buyer is concerned. And as far as the seller is concerned, you would have been happy if you had no obligation. This is understandable? Only because I'm having the right and the obligation that I will suffer a loss if the price falls down to 20. And as far as the seller is concerned, I'm making a huge loss, 29 rupees, only because I have not only the right but also the obligation. So if this obligation for both the parties are not there, then probably the parties would have been having a better stake in the contract. Is that possible? Is that possible?
Yes, sir.
Are you getting what I'm saying? In a futures contract, by the nature of the contract, you not only have the right, but also you are obliged to do what you have promised. If you are a buyer, you have the right to buy it at the underlying right to buy the underlying at the strike price, as well as you have the obligation to buy. On the other hand, when it is a seller, you have the right to sell it at the underlying asset at the strike price, and also you have the obligation to sell. Is it? So what happens? The price falls down to 20. The buyer has the right to buy at the strike price. Strike price is how much? 30 rupees 75 paise. But the downward spot price has fallen down to 20. So now can the buyer say that no, I don't want to buy now? My mind is changed. I changed my mind. I do not want to buy now. Can I say that? Can I say that?
No.
I cannot say that because we are promised to buy. So that's what I said. The future is a right as well as an obligation. So whatever is the promise you make a promise to buy, you have the right to buy it, and also you have the obligation to buy it. Even though the price falls down, the buyer cannot change the mind. The buyer should actually apply to that, and buyer should be buying it. Right? And what about the seller's side? The seller has the right to sell it at the price that is agreed, the strike price, but not only the right, he is also having the obligation. Listen now. Say for example, the price rises to 60 rupees. So what right does the seller have? Seller have the right to sell the underlying asset at the strike price. What is the strike price? It is 30 rupees 70 paise. He is having the obligation to sell it at 30 rupees 75 paise, but the market price is already 60. When the market price is 60, when he is selling for 30 rupees 75 paise, he will have a notional loss of 29 rupees 25. That is possible?
Yes.
Oh, okay. At this point of time, what I would like you to understand is, as far as a futures contract is concerned, we already discussed this is that it is an arrangement, it is an agreement between the two parties. Two parties where they promise to buy and the other party promises to sell the underlying asset at the strike price which they have already agreed. But being said that, let us also keep in mind that it is not only the right for a party to buy it or sell it, it is also an obligation for that party to buy it or sell it as they have promised. The buyer has a right as well as an obligation to buy it at the strike price. The seller has a right as well as an obligation to sell it at the strike price. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If that is clear, now it is because of this obligation, either for the buyer and for the seller, it is because there is an obligation on each side. That particular position, the buyer or the seller can sometimes go into a loss. Here he is having a loss, and here also he is having, the buyer is having, because this point when the market price is below 30 rupees, this buyer cannot say that I have changed my mind and therefore I don't want to suffer the loss. He has the right to buy it for 30.75 and he also has the obligation to buy it at 30. So even if the price is 28, he still have to buy it at 30 rupees. Similarly, for the seller, though the price falls raises to 33 rupees, he has a right to buy it at 30.75. He also has a right to buy obligation to buy it at 30.75. Therefore, he would make a loss of 2.2. This is a typical characteristics of a futures contract. Both the parties are bound by what they promise. There is no choice or there is no option to say that I want to do it or I do not want to do it. It is always what you have promised. You have the right to do it as well as you have the obligation. Is that explanation clear? What I get with options? Sorry, with futures. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
If you would want to just represent that graphically, let us take a line graph. If I put this, let's take the data. So now if you look at it, this is how the payoff for a futures will look like. Is it not? Can I just try to study this graph? So what was the strike price? It is here, na? 30 point, what is it? 75 or whatever.
75.
Yeah, 30.75 is the strike. Okay. So at 30.75, you do not have any profit or loss. You are at zero, position zero. Is it not? So as far as the buyer is concerned, okay, this is long position. I'll write long here. Okay. So buyer means let us call it a long position. As far as the long position is concerned, when does he make profit? He has a right and obligation to buy it at 30.75. So the market price goes above 30.75, 32, 33, 32, 35. He will have the right to buy it at 30.75, a lower price, and therefore he is making a profit. So as the price increases, is not as the price increases, you will tend to make a. See from here, this is the profit side and this is the market price. So above, as the price goes to 31, 32, 33, you will start making the profit. Possible?
Yes, sir. Possible.
And when will you make a loss? The price falls below 30.75. You still have the obligation to buy it for 30.75. Even if the price falls at 29, 28, 27, 26, accordingly, you will start making. What would be your maximum possible loss? What would be the maximum possible loss for this buyer? Contract buyer?
Zero. Limited loss.
Louder?
Unlimited.
Limited loss.
No.
Unlimited.
Loss, what will be the maximum loss? Loss is not unlimited. How far can the price go down? How far can the price go down? Let us say the price goes down to zero. So the maximum loss will be 30.75. Is it not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
The price cannot go to negative, na? So the maximum loss will be 30.75.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah. So you see, for example, here if you are writing 18 and this. Okay. So as the price goes down, your loss will start. Okay. So what you are not happy here is you are not happy with this obligation. You are not happy with this obligation. Why are you not happy with this obligation? I'll draw it here again. So why are you not happy with this obligation?
Because we have to buy the thing at a price which is available at a lesser price in the market.
Correct. 27. I'll put two more so that you can have some more data points. Yeah. See, if you look at this line, you can just very clearly understand that as the price falls lower and lower, your profit will be severe and severe. Is it not? As the price goes to 27, 26, even if it goes even down to 25, 24, your losses will be even more severe. What is making a loss severe? The fact that not only the right, but you are also having an obligation is what is bothering you. So what if the price goes to 20, 18, 17, 15, 14? Your loss will be even more severe. So as a trader, what you would want to know is that you always enjoy this right because you have the right to buy it at 30.75. Well, the price if it is 32, 33 or 34, you can still have the privilege or you can still enjoy the right of buying it at 30.75 and making a profit. So with this right, you are very comfortable. But however, with this obligation, you are not very comfortable. You somehow want to get rid of this obligation. So suppose you just imagine when the price is in this particular zone, if you do not have any obligation to buy it, you would never have suffered this loss. So if there is no obligation, you would simply say to the seller that as per the contract, I only have the right to buy it. I don't have the obligation to buy it. So if the price falls below 37 rupee, I will suffer a loss. So I don't have the obligation to buy it. Therefore, I am not going to buy it. So you want this contract to be in such a way that you will always have a right, but never an obligation. Are you getting it? So with futures, this is not possible. As per the construct of the futures, you have a right and obligation. Now from futures, you can now move on to a little more complicated contract, which you call it as an option, where the buyer has the right to buy it at the strike price, but you do not have the obligation. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So what is an options contract in a layman's language? In layman's language, what's an options contract?
Yeah, when you have an option to buy, an option to sell can be an option contract. One extent of
so options contract means let it be buying or let it be selling side, let it be your long position or you're taking a short position. Option means
that it gives the holder the right.
Yeah, holder the right.
Buy
the
or
buyer
sell.
the right. The right alone and not obligation. The right alone and not obligation. So let us try to understand and elaborate what this is. Now come to this particular scenario. Okay, so here, see, I want rise in the month of November, and I am afraid whether the price will go up. So I am afraid whether the price will go up to 33, 34, 35, etc. So I want a right to buy the rice at the rate of 30.75. Okay. But in my mind, with previous experience, I also found that after entering into such a contract, when finally I go for buying the rice, I find that the rice prices are bottom low. So many times I regretted for entering into this contract. So now my demand is that I want the right to buy the contract. So the right to buy the rice, I don't want the obligation. So this is my demand. I want the right to buy the underlying asset rice at the rate of K, but I will not take the obligation. Who will be the counterparty to me? So what is my requirement? Narrate my requirement. Can you articulate my requirement? What is my requirement? What is my requirement?
The other party who will give the right to me.
No. My requirement
Seller of
is,
the option.
My requirement is I want to buy the rice at the strike price in the month of November. But I do not want to take the obligation of buying it. So you call me up and say that no, okay, you are a farmer. You call me up and say that no, you are ready to sell me rice in the month of November. I say that fine, I'm willing to buy rice in the month of November at this strike price. Remember, I will not take an obligation to buy, which means if the price falls in the month of November, I will discard you and I will go to the market and buy it at a lower price. Possible? Possible?
Yes, sir, possible.
So for me, it is good. For me, it is good.
Yes, sir.
Now, why should you be motivated to enter into this contract as a counterparty? I am okay because I am getting the right and I don't want the obligation. Fine. So for a contract, there should be always another party on the other side. There should be a counterparty. So what should be the motive of the counterparty?
He will get premium.
Yeah, premium means what? No, can you just narrate it in an ordinary man's language?
Yes, some incentive for the same, for extra money.
A commission.
Okay. See, though not very correct, let me just explain to this way. See, we all take, indemnity, we all take insurance for a motor, is it not? Correct. So, with the insurance company, you pay a token amount and you take the insurance. So, what is the agreement like? The insurance company says that you give me this much money, 10,000 rupees for 1 year. However, if you have any loss, any hit or any accident, I will compensate. Okay, so what is the motive of the insurer? What is the anticipation of the insurer? He assumes that there are a lot of people who are taking insurance, so most of them will escape an accident. Most of them there will not be any incident. So I can keep
Insurance
the premium.
contract is entered. Yes.
I can keep the premium.
Yes.
So here
Because
also,
basically everybody will not suffer the losses. In insurance contract, everybody who is taking up the insurance will not suffer the losses. The probability that a person will suffer the losses is very less. So whatever premium has been paid by the other parties who have not suffered the losses, that will be a profit to that insurer.
okay. Basically, that is the understanding, but in option slightly that is different. The exact explanation does not work here. Here, what happens is that let us assume that you are the exporter. All the participants, you are the exporter. So you want a right to buy the rice at the rate of strike price because if the price goes up, you will be in trouble. So you want the right to buy it at 30.75. But however, you don't want the obligation to buy it at 30.75 because the market price falls down 26, 25, 23. You want to buy it at a lower rate and even make a higher profit. Therefore, you are not very much interested to have this obligation. We are constructing the contract in such a way that you will always retain the right and not obligation. And you are calling me and asking, to this, can you agree and be the counterpart? Okay, I will think about it and I will say, okay, will I say yes? Will I be the counterparty to you? Will I be a counterparty?
So can you ask the question once again?
Yeah, all the participants, you are the buyer, you are the exporter, you want to buy the rice. So you called me and said that I am constructing a contract, I am drafting it this way that you will have the right, all the buyer, you will have the right to buy the rice at the strike price, but you will not take the obligation to buy. So you want somebody else to be the counterparty, only then the contract, there can be a contract. They are asking me, can I be the counterparty? So what does it mean that I will be the counterparty? You can exercise the right on me. What is your right?
Right to buy.
Right to buy the rice at the rate of strike
at a certain price.
So if I agree to be the counterparty, it simply means that you can exercise the right on me, whereby I will be obliged to sell you the rice at the strike price. So if you exercise the right, I will have to sell you the rice at 30.75. If you say that you don't have the obligation, the price of the rice falls to 26 or 27, you will simply say that you don't want to exercise the right, then I have nothing to do. Clear? So just look at this point. Suppose the price is, I'll insert one more. Okay, I'll write it here. Suppose the price is 35. Will you exercise your right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you have the right to buy it at 30.7. See, please mute your mic, those are not using. So will exercise your right. At 34?
Yes.
Yes, again, yes, because you have the right to buy it at 30.7. But here also, yes. See, madam, please put your mic on mute. Who is this? Is it possible to mute individually? What's the name? Whose mic is on? Whose mic is on? Whose mic is on? Can we just find it out?
Smriti Ranjan Sahu, sir.
Yeah.
Smriti Ranjan Sahu. Smriti Ranjan Sahu, somebody.
Okay. Now, so here also you will exercise your right because your right is 30.75, the market price is 32. Here also you will exercise the right to buy it. Here also you will exercise the right to buy it. What about here? What about here?
Where, sir? Which price?
Just
If the
right
price
price
will be
30.75, the market price is 30. Will you exercise the right?
No, no.
No. If you do not exercise your right, will you have a loss?
Yes, only to the extent of premium.
No, we are not discussed premium. There is no premium yet. So I not paid any premium. So there is no loss.
I will be at a profit because I will be able to purchase rice at 30 rupees per kg instead of 30 rupees.
Yeah, so here also from the contract there is no loss. No. So there is no loss. Here also there is no loss. And here also there is no loss. Possible? Why is no loss happening here?
Can you repeat?
Because
please?
I do not have the obligation to buy. If the price falls to 26, I am not obliged to buy it at the rate of 30.75. Unlike in a futures contract where you you have the right and obligation, here all you will have a loss. But in an option, since you drafted the contract that you will only want the right but not an obligation, you will never meet with a loss. Okay, now let it remain there. Now come to the seller's side. Now tell me, will the seller make a profit here? Will the seller make a profit here? The price is 22. Seller will make a loss.
Yes.
Why? Because the buyer has a right to buy it at 30.75. The market rate is 35. So the seller will have to buy it for 35 from the market and give to the buyer for 30.75. He make a loss of 4.25. Is it not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Here also he will make a loss. Here also he will make a loss. Here also he will make a loss. What about here? Here also he will make a loss. What about here?
So here too,
No loss.
Here, the seller would have made a profit provided the buyer had an obligation to buy it. If he had an obligation to buy it at 30.75, when the market rate is only 30, so the seller can buy it for 30 from the market and sell it to the counterparty for 30.75. You could have made a profit of 0.7. What happened was the buyer is not having any obligation. Since the buyer is not having any obligation, therefore buyer will simply not buy it. He will simply say that I don't want to buy it. I don't have an obligation. Therefore, he is not going to make a loss and you are not going to make a profit. So there is no profit. Here also, no profit. The buyer seller cannot make a. Are you getting what I am saying?
But sir, my question here is that when a seller of the option, if the buyer does not exercise his right, so whatever price buyer has paid, will it not be a profit to the seller of the option, sir?
Whatever price the buyer, you are talking about the premium.
Yes, sir.
No, I have not introduced premium so far. I have not introduced premium.
Okay.
I have not introduced premium to you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just stretching futures towards options. We are not yet defined options by introducing premium. I'm just talking about when I remove the obligation part from the futures, what is the concept?
Okay, sir. Right. Thank you.
Okay. So here, when in a futures where you have a right and obligation, but the obligation is removed, the buyer of the option has a possibility to make profit. He never has a possibility to make loss. On the other side, the seller of the option has a possibility of making losses, but he never has a possibility of making profit. So what did you call me and ask earlier? You all were the buyer of the option. You all are the exporters of rice. So you wanted the right to buy rice at the rate of strike price 30.75, but you don't want the obligation. So you called me and asked whether can I be the counterparty. So what is going on in my mind is that I be the counterparty as a seller to as a counterparty to this contract. I understand that at times you will make a profit, which is my loss. And you will never make a loss, and therefore I never have a profit. So which means as a counterparty, I only have a chance of getting a loss, never a chance of getting a profit. Then why should I be a counterparty? Are you getting what I am saying?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So then what would be the solution? How do you motivate me to be the counterparty?
Give some
You
commission.
want a person on whom you can exercise the right to buy the rights at the rate of K without any obligation. So you want me that person who will oblige you to deliver you rice at the rate of T. But you don't have any obligation. If you do not want to buy it, you will simply say that I don't want to buy it. So if that is the case, how do you motivate me to be a party in your contract?
Commission or incentive you should give him.
You would say that, okay, I understand that it is totally an unfair contract. It is fair for you and it is unfair for me. You have the chance to make a profit, you never make a loss. I have only a chance of making a loss, I can never make a profit. So therefore, it is always an unfair contract, it is only fair for you. Therefore, to make a contract fair, I am willing to pay an amount called the premium. Okay, let us say the premium is 2 rupees. If you say that you are willing to pay a premium of 2 rupees, then what will go in my mind? What will go in my mind?
So whether the other party is exercising his rights or not, I will get 2 rupees. That is
It should be
sure.
something like this. Suppose I am a person who believes that the price of rice will not fall below 30.75. I have different reasons, either based on my experience, or I studied the technicals, or I studied the demands of the aggregation. So whatever, I have strong reason to believe that the price of the rice will not go below 30.75. Okay, the price of rice will not go above 30.75. The price of rice will not go above 30.7. So if that is my belief, what can I do? I'll simply say yes to you. I'll say that I can be a counterparty. You can exercise the right to buy rice from me at 30.75. So what is my belief? My belief is that the price of the rice will be always below 30.75. It is not going to rise above 30.7. Suppose it is 30 rupees. What will I get here? If it is 30 rupees, will you exercise the contract? Will you exercise your right?
Yeah.
The November rice price is 30. Now, will you exercise your right?
No.
No, because your right to buy the rice is 30.75. You could better buy it from the open market for 30 rupees. Why should you exercise the right to buy it at 30.75? You will not exercise the right. So what will I be left with? I have the 2 rupee premium which you are given me. That is my premium. What happens if it is 29? Will you exercise your right?
Yes.
No, sir.
No, because your right is to buy rice at the rate of 30.75. The market price is only 29. So should you exercise your right?
No.
No. So again, the 2 rupee premium that you are paid will be with you. Here also you will not exercise your right. The premium that is paid is going to be with you. Here also the same thing. Or if the price is again 26, again you will not exercise the right. Your premium will be in mind. Possible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Huh? This is possible?
Yes. So can you repeat the question?
No. Is this a payoff clear?
Yes, sir. Every time the seller will be in the profitable situation.
Louder?
The seller will always be in a profitable situation if the price will go less than 30.75.
No. Suppose, no, I want to be always in a profit situation. That is correct. But because my belief is that the price will not go up. But however, if the price goes up, what happens? Suppose the price is, what is it, 35 rupees. What will happen?
So there will be loss to the seller. Buyer will exercise his right.
So my loss will be 35 rupees. I have to buy it. So what I get from you is only 30 rupees, 75 paise.
0.75.
I had to pay
75 paise.
I had to pay 35 rupees to buy it. Yes,
35.
and I received 2 rupees from you as premium. So my loss will be 2.25.
Yes.
Here, this will be
1.25.
what I get from you is the strike price 30.75. Okay, I had to pay 34 rupees to buy it from the market.
34.
However, I received 2
less
rupees premium from you. So it is minus like this. Is it not?
1.2.
So you can, I can be in loss also provided the price raises. But my strong belief is that the price will not raise above 30.75. The price will always remain here. So if there is one such person in the society, you can find that person to be your company. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
This position that you take is called a long call, and the position that I take is called a long, short call. So what is the definite description of a long call? Long call.
He has the right to buy.
The
right to
right
buy and
to buy the underlying asset.
right to buy at a certain
at the-
price.
At
Certain price.
Strike price. At the strike price. Without any obligation to. This is the description of a long call. And who is short call? Is the counter party to the long call. He has
obligation.
He has no right. He has no right. He has only
obligation
to act according
As per
to the long call decision. So what does it mean? Yes, act according to long call decision. What does it mean?
Also,
what does it mean? What does it mean?
The buyer will decide.
If the long call decides
Whatsoever
that
the
I
buyer
buy
will
it,
decide
if
that
the
he has
long
to
call
do.
decides that he will buy it, the short call should sell the rice.
He has to sell.
If the long call decides
He
that
has
I
to
don't
sell.
want to buy it, short call has nothing to do. It should remain silent. When will the long call decide to buy? Long call.
Then the price will go up above the strike price.
Exercise his right. His right. Exercise means.
When the price will go above the.
Yeah, right. Right. When
the price will go above the strike price. Price will go above the strike price. Strike price. Strike price.
Long call will decide to exercise his right when the spot price is greater than the strike price. That is anything above 30.75. This area, the long call will decides to exercise his right. He will therefore get a notional profit of this like this, and that will be the notional loss of the short. Okay. So then if if long call decide to exercise his right, short call to sell the underlying asset at the strike price to that clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, for who is having a privileged position here in this contract, long call or short call?
Long call.
Long call has a privileged position. Why?
Yes, sir. Because he is having the right and the
He is
other
having the
party
right
has to
and
act.
no obligation. And short call has no right, only to listen
And
to
the
what
other party has
long
to
call
act as per his desire.
Yeah. So this is unfair position, is it not? Because I am obliging to you that whatever you say, I would listen. So I am giving that obligation to you. I am applying upon you. So therefore, how do I make it make it a fair contract? Long call will compensate. Long call will compensate the short call guy. Short call with a
Premium.
C. C is denoted to refer the call premium. The long call will compensate short call with a premium C. Thus, the short call will have the premium C. Okay. So far clear? Now, what is the outlook of each person? When will you want to be a long call?
When I am having the brief idea that the price will rise in the coming future, then I will go for long.
If you are 100% sure the price will rise in the price of the underlying asset will rise, will you go for a long call?
Yes.
Rather, you could go for a futures, long futures. It's not, you can buy futures. You need not even pay the premium. You're 100% sure it is better to go for a futures.
But futures, it is an obligation. But here,
yeah, but you're 100% sure that the price will not fall. It is going to rise. So if your confidence level is very high, yeah. So if your confidence level is very high that the price will go up, probably futures will be better because you can avoid paying the premium. So here my outlook is bullish, definitely bullish. Outlook is bullish on the underlying asset. However, don't want to take the downside, sorry, upside risk. Now, your bullish is outlook. You are expecting that the price of the rise will, sorry, not upside, downside. You are expecting that the price will rise. So that's why you are booking a right to buy it at 30.75, maybe at 31 rupees or 32 rupees also if the price goes up, still you can buy it at 30.7. But however, you don't want to take the risk of the price falling down. It goes to 25 rupees or 26 rupees. Still you don't want yourself obliging to buy it at 30.7. So you don't want to take the downside. That is your outcome. Such person is one who is a candidate for taking a long. Is that clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And what about the short call? Is that the price of the underlying asset will not
increase
above the price. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now if you look at it, These are basically, what you can have it as, a long call and short. A long call has the right to buy the underlying asset at the strike price without any obligation. Why? The person who is the counterparty is called a short call. He has only to act according to the price. Long call will decide to exercise his right when the spot price is above the strike. And in that case, the long call decides to exercise his right. Short call now becomes obliged to sell the underlying at the strike price to the.
एक मिनट है
So please put your mics off. So the privilege, the long call is always having a privilege because he is having the right to decide whether to buy it or not. Short call just have to listen to the decision of the. So therefore, long position is a privileged one and short position is underprivileged. So to compensate it, the long call need to pay a money as a token money for compensating the privileged position that he has taken. You call that the premium. So the long position gives the premium to the. Now, who is a candidate for a long call? For a long call, the candidate is having an outlook in the underlying asset which is bullish. That is, he's worried whether the price will go up. So, one, to burn his fingers by buying the underlying asset later at a high price. But however, if the price falls, he still don't want to oblige to buy it at the agreed strike. So a person with that mentality is one who is a candidate for a. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, let us take an example. Okay, I'll take. Let me take NS. So here, let's go to the market data. Flat 27 points. Anyway, so I'm taking the derivatives. This thing, taking the derivative step, and let us take some stock options. Which one you want to discuss? I'm taking IBC. So which is the underlying here? Which is the underlying we are discussing? So far we are discussing the underlying was rise. Now what is underlying? What is underlying? Yeah. Hello.
Sure. Sir, what is the question?
Which is the underlying asset that I'm discussing now?
Other than rice.
That was a discussion. Now in NSE, I taken which underlying? I taken ITC. Okay, or you want to take some other stock, you can take Bharti Airtel. So this is the underlying asset. So what I'm trying to say is, as I discussed earlier, agriculture commodities and underlying, well, fine also. Stock can also be an underlying. Okay. So here is Bharti Airtel. I'm taking the details of Bharti Airtel. Okay. Now.
Stock, currency, commodity.
Yeah, commodity, metals.
Option. These are all underlying assets.
Yeah, all can be underlying. So here, however, the underlying is a stock. Even the index can be an underlying. Nifty itself can be an underlying.
Underlined with options.
Yeah, options. Yeah. So here, now let us try to understand. So what is the spot price?
Current market price.
Yeah, what is the spot price of this Bharti Airtel now?
Current market price.
Yeah, what is the spot price? Tell me the spot price. This is, if you look at in the NSE window, the underlying value is what we mean by the spot price. So which means Bharti Airtel, one share is trading at 694 rupees. Okay, Bharti Airtel is the stock which is trading at the rate of 694 rupees. Okay, so that is the spot price. So if you, even now the market is open for another 2 more minutes. So if you call your broker and say that you want to buy Bharti Airtel, they will buy it for you. You have to pay 694 rupees 20 paise approximately to buy one share, right? Okay, now that is which segment? Cash market segment. Is it not? We earlier said about primary market and secondary market. So you can buy this in the secondary market, stock market, and you can get the share in the DP account. Now, you are very bullish about Bharti. You believe that, now it is pandemic, more people are, going for online classes, internet usage is going very high. People are, going for, touch-free payment mechanism. So people are using UPI apps or internet data services are more in demand. So anyway, however, in the next 2 quarters, Bharti will do well. Already, players like Reliance is weak. Vodafone has already shut down. So, you believe that, there are reasons to believe Bharti Airtel will go to 750, 800 in another 2 months' time. Okay. So that is your anticipation. What can you do? That is your anticipation. What can you do? What can you do? There are 2 things you can do. One, you can buy Bharti at the rate of 794 today. 100 shares, you can buy, or 1000 shares, you can buy it for 694 today. Hold it for 2 or 3 months to wait till it goes to 750 or 800, and you can book the profit and you can take. That is one thing that you can do. Possible? Possible? Yes or no? Even if you are not a farmer living Bharti Airtel, you believe that the price of wheat will go up. So you want to say that now wheat is trading at 30 rupees. The wheat is going to be trading at 34 rupees in the month of December. So I want to buy 10,000 kilograms of wheat and I want to make profit out. So, but it is very difficult to bring 10,000 kilograms of wheat at home and then give it back to the market. So therefore, we only go for net cash settlement. Is it not? So what you are doing is you are only making a speculation that this underlying asset which is at 694 today will go to 700 or 750 or 800 in near future. So you want to make profit. For that, what you are doing is you are buying Bharti Airtel and you are waiting for 2 months to pass so that you can sell it at a higher rate. Alternatively, other than buying Bharti Airtel in your DP account, you can also buy Bharti in the futures or options segment. Is it not? So what do you mean by buying Bharti in the option segment or futures segment? What is the futures contract? I already explained you what is the futures. So what is the futures? What is the futures?
Has right to buy and has obligation.
You are buying your futures means if you are taking a long position in futures, it means you are acquiring the right to buy Bharati at, let us say, 694 or 695 or whatever is the price agreed today on a later date, let us say October, November or December. Okay, so you enter with me a contract whereby the contract specifies that you will have the right to buy Bharati at the rate of 700 rupees today. Sorry, 700 rupees is decided today, which you will buy it in the month of November or December. The month of November or December, if Bharati price goes to 750, what is your advantage? What is your advantage?
So I will get a surplus.
The difference in
You
the
are having the
price.
right to buy it at 700, so you can exercise your right, buy it for 700, and you can sell it for 750, make a profit of 50 rupees. It is as good as buying Bharati in your DP account and waiting for 2 months. So therefore, there are 2 things that you can do. Either you can buy Bharati in your DP account and you can wait, or you can buy a contract for buying Bharti at a specified strike price, and you can pay for. Okay. Now, what is that is bothering you when you buy a futures? What is bothering you when you're buying a futures?
So it's a daily zero sum game.
In a futures, what is bothering you is
Obligation.
your obligation.
Obligation to do. We always have to do.
Say it is futures, the moment you enter into futures, you are having the right. You are taking a long position, you are having the right to buy it, and also you have the obligation to buy it. Later, you cannot say that I have changed my mind. No, you have to buy it. So what you're worried is, since you have this obligation to buy it at 700, the price of Bharati falls to 500 or 550 or 450 in the month of November, you will be in trouble, because you still have to buy it at 700 rupees in spite of the fact that the price is not.
Yes, sir.
But you do not want to take that risk. You only want to keep your door open for the upside profit potential. You want to actually insulate you from any downfall of the price. Therefore, from futures, you choose to take an options contract, because in an options contract, you only have the right and no obligation. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now if you look at it, if you look at the specification of this underlying, come again, the underlying asset is what? Bharti ATAL. The current spot price of Bharti ATAL is 684, sorry, 694. Now this is an options contract. Now options contract means you do not have, you are not going to get the right to buy Bharti anytime in your life. It has a time period. So here it is mentioned 30th September. So what does it indicate? What does it indicate?
On 30th September, right, this right will expire.
Yeah, your right is active, or you have the right till 30th of September. You can have a longer period, you can October or November also you can go. However, this particular contract is available. Your right is live till 30th of September. Okay, the type of contract is called, we'll come to that. This is called a strike price call. What is a strike price?
Price at which you can buy the asset as per the option contract.
Correct. What is the strike price here?
694.
Huh?
694.
No. 694 is the underlying price, spot price.
Excuse me, sir. Are you writing something on the sheet? Because I am not able to see anything.
No, sir. Please.
I am not able to see anything.
Yes,
sir. It is blank sheet. Sheet number 4.
No, is my share is my screen is not shared. Oh, you have told me earlier. I was.
No, sir. Screen is shared, but we are not able
to see anything. Excel sheet is there. Now NSE website is
yes,
there.
sir. Yes,
I'm sorry. Somebody should have told me that.
From last 15 minutes, we are only on the Excel sheet.
Now it is visible, sir. Now it is visible.
No, I'll come once again. I have taken NSE website. Okay, I have taken NSE India.com. Okay, I have taken NSE India.com. Okay, from there I'm taking the market data. I'm taking the derivatives market. Okay, so from the derivatives market, I'm taking, let us say, a stock option. I've taken, I'm randomly choosing any one of the stock. I've taken Bharti ATAL. So this is what I was explaining to you. The underlying asset is Bharti ATAL. Okay, and this underlying value is, what is underlying value?
Underlying value
694 rupees 80 paise. Okay, so the this is the spot price. Currently the market is closed. Then this should be the last traded price. Okay, so I was explaining you. Suppose you are bullish on this stock. Let us say you expect this stock to be 800 rupees in November. What can you do? You can either buy this stock today and keep it till November for selling it at a higher price. Alternatively, what you can do is you can take an futures contract, or you can take an options contract. So what will be the repercussion when you take a futures contract? If you're taking a futures contract, what will be the repercussion?
You have to compulsorily oblige.
You have the right and you also have the obligation to buy it at the strike. Suppose the strike price is 700, you have the right to buy it at 700. So if I okay. Now my Excel is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So 670, 671, 72. Now if I drag it, and suppose the strike price is 680. So tell me what will be the this thing with an options sorry, futures payout. Strike price is 780. So what will be the payout for a futures?
Negative 10.
Negative.
This will be
10
negative.
rupees.
minus
Negative 10.
the number.
Negative 9.
As the price increases, you will start making profit. Is it? So what you're worried about is you're definitely your outlook is bullish. So you expect the price of Bharati somewhere in this area in November. Okay, but somehow you do not want to actually burn your fingers if Bharati price goes against your prediction to a lower end, it goes to a negative. This is what happens in a futures situation. You are very confident that it will go up, but however, you do not want to make a loss. So in such a situation, what will you do? You will rather go for a
By options.
All options. So here you will have the right. So if I put it again, you will have the right, but you will not have the obligation. So if it comes in this area, only thing is that you will not make any profit, but you will not make any loss. Only that you will not make any profit. If the price falls below the strike price, the implication is that you will not make any profit. Only that you will not make any profit, but no loss is going to come. So that is the difference between options and a. Are you getting the concept?
Forgo only premiums.
Only the premium definitely. Okay, but we have already discussed it is an unfair contract, so we have to pay a fee. Okay, so now you look at this contract specification. Taking a September contract, the strike price is 700. So you are going to take a long position into this contract. If you are going to take a long position into this contract, you are having the right. The counterparty, I am the counterparty to you. I simply have to listen to you as to what you say. So for that, what should you do? You have to compensate. So now, how much is the compensation?
Okay.
Premium. The premium. Here in this case, the premium is 40. How the 14 rupees 75 is evolved or calculated, or what is the model? A Black-Scholes option pricing model, a pyramid option pricing model. I'll be explaining to you on a later date. But let us understand there is a scientific way of determining the premium. But at this point of time, let us arbitrarily understand that if you want to buy this contract, you have to pay 14 rupees 70 paise to the other person. Once you pay this premium, then you can procure the right in your hand. That right will allow you to exercise. Exercise means buy, please off your mind, buy Bharti Airtel at the rate of strike price 700. Anytime till September 20. Is that clear?
Sir, we'll be discussing the settlement later, or you'll be explaining it today only?
I want to complete the payoff today, so let me see how far we can finish. Settlement, I will not.
No, sir, I have certain doubts related to the settlement.
Can you please, mute your mic, because there are around 100 people here. So,
Sir, it's Dr. Sharmila. Can you please?
Sharmila, madam, please be careful to put your mic off. What's the name? Sharmila.
Dr. Sharmila. Dr. R. Sharmila.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, can you narrate the position that you are taken? What is the position that you are taking? First of all, tell me your
So
outlook.
the question is that we are seeing that it is 14.70. So my profit will depend on the the increasing of this price or decrease of this price.
Correct,
Because
correct,
how
correct. So, sir, let us not overlook at that point of time. We'll come in a sequence. How the premium moves and all, and we'll discuss in next classes. So, if you jump to that, you will lose something in between, so that finally it will not be clear.
Yeah, that is why I'm asking, sir, whether I mean.
Yeah, we'll come to that, but not
flow,
immediately. We'll take a curve. We'll take a learning curve. We'll, finish one by
No. This is just a request. Just whenever you feel like, just discuss this thing also.
Yeah, no, not whenever I feel, sir. I have already planned it that will come. Factors affecting option prices will discuss.
Sure.
Okay, so don't worry about that. Huh? So we'll be discussing that. Now tell me what has happened. So what is your outlook? Your outlook is that Bharti Airtel will, you're bullish on Bharti Airtel, but however you do not want to burn the fingers if Bharti Airtel falls. So therefore you do not want to take a futures position. You are willing to pay some price for this for this protection. You are paying 14 rupees 75 cents for one stock and receiving a right to buy Bharti Airtel at the rate of 700 anytime till September 30th. So what do you want to happen with Bharti till September 30th?
Price to go up.
The price should go up so that you can cover your premium as well and then make a profit.
Yes.
This is a lot. So if I put that in this particular this thing, okay.
Okay. Just
If I put this here, can I write the net payoff? Okay, I'll write what is the premium?
14.70.
Premium is 14.7 now.
Yes, sir.
I'll write it here. Okay, 14.7. So tell me what will be the payoff here? What is the strike price?
700.
700. My screen is visible. I think if you are not visible, please let me know. So the strike price is 700. So I'll write the strike price also here. So here, will you make a profit?
Sir, loss of 44.7.
See, tomorrow or any time till September, or on you are not exercising the contract tomorrow or day after, you are waiting for the last day, and let us say on the last day the price is only 770. Do you make a profit?
Yes.
No, sir.
No, because your right is to buy the Bharti Airtel at 700 rupees.
Yes, sir.
But the market price is now only 670. So is there any merit of having that right with you?
Then it will be a loss.
Then it will be
loss of 14.7.
It will be a loss of 30 rupees. But remember, in an options, you don't have the obligation to buy it. So therefore, you need not be buying it for 700. If it was a futures, you should have been buying it at 700. Is it not? If it was futures, you would have bought it at 700 and you will incur a loss of 30 rupees. Here you will incur a loss of 29, 28, 27. Is it not? Getting it? But here you don't have the obligation to buy it. You simply say that I only have the right to buy it. I don't have the obligation to buy it. So will you suffer a loss of 30 rupees here?
No.
No, sir.
What will be your maximum loss?
14.7.
Only 14.7.
Yeah. You can write it like this. This will be
14.
Yeah, this will be maximum of
14.7.
this minus
this or 14.7.
minus this, or I think we have to give the symbol here. Increase the column. Here also I will have. Again, this drag it down now. I think you should where we are back now.
No, sir.
Maximum. No, what is it? H4 is what? H. That's yeah. So now if you look at it, you can, or rather I'll just reduce the scale so that it will be easier for you. I'll make it 760, 680. I'll make it 9 and that. So can you look at here? Look at this. Look at this. So what will be your maximum loss if it is 760? Sorry, 670. It is a premium. But you look at it in the futures case, your maximum loss will be more severe. It will be 30 rupees. If it is 680, what will be your maximum loss? Is again the premium. So in an options contract for a long position, the holder of the option, the maximum loss will be always the premium that you pay. That is why you are going into the option. Your loss is always limited to the premium. How much of the stock falls down, you don't have the obligation to buy it. Only the premium that is paid is actually your loss. But that is not the case of a futures position. If the stock has a free fall, as the stock falls, your loss will actually keep on increasing. Convert this also into yield and T. That might be let us take. Can you now observe the difference? See, the intensity of the loss is much higher when you go into a futures scenario, but when it comes into an option scenario, how much of the stock falls, your loss will be maximum limited to the premium. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, can you just also put this in a graphical mode? Just insert a line chart. You just insert a line chart. This is for futures. Huh? So I'm putting it for futures. What will be this thing? Let's take the data. And this is for the futures. So now, as the price increases above the strike price 700, see, you can see the profit is increased. But as the price goes below 700, your loss will also keep on. But now, if you plot the graph for a options, graph for an options, in the data. in the difference between an options and futures, your loss will be limited. See, can you find it here?
Yes,
But
yes.
in futures, what happens? Your loss is a free fall as the price falls. So if the price falls to 500, your loss will be very severe. If the price falls to 400, your loss will be even more severe. But in an options case, what happens? Loss, how much ever the stock will fall. So it is only scale from 670. So if you have a longer scale, how much ever the price falls, your loss is always limited to the maximum amount of premium. This is how you put up payoff for a long position for an options and now few questions so you are in a long call at 670. Will you exercise your right? Will you exercise your right long call?
No. No.
680?
No.
690?
No.
No.
700?
It
Depends.
will be
Indifferent.
totally indifferent.
Totally indifferent. 710?
Yes.
Yes,
Will you
from
make a profit
710
at 710?
onwards, we can exercise.
Will you make a profit at 710?
10 is a profit.
At 710
No,
also
no,
you
no.
don't make a profit. At 710 also you make a loss of 7.
You are locking loss.
But you will exercise your right. Why?
Meager loss incurred.
May
Because
or
at
maybe.
least you can bring your loss down to 4.7 from 14.7. Because you can buy it at 700 and sell it for 710. You can make a profit of 10 rupees. Adjusted against the premium paid 14 rupees, your loss will be 14 points. So what is the rule? You will exercise your right when spot greater than. It doesn't mean that you are always in profit. It only means that your loss will come down. So whenever spot is above the strike price, you will start to exercise. Is that point clear?
Yes.
So if you look at the graph here, at 700 or at 670, your loss is maximum at 14.7 rupees. At 700, from 701, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, your loss is decreasing. And at what price will you break even? This is 0. So at what price are you break even?
714.
714 rupees 70 paise. Is it not? What is the premium? Premium is 14 rupees 70 paise. So at what price will you break even? You will break even at spot
14.7,
which is 700
plus
14.7.
14.7.
14.7 you will. And when will you make profit? The profit zone is above, when the spot price goes above 714.7, you will start making. So this is 714.7. As the spot price keeps on increasing, will keep on making. Is that clear? Is that clear? Yeah.
No.
Is it okay? Now, another one more question. Suppose, please check your mind. Suppose the spot price is 750. Okay, Bharti ATAL trades tomorrow at 750 rupees. Both in futures and options. In both cases, you will be in profit. In futures, will you be in profit? Strike price is 700. Will you be in profit if tomorrow it is trading at 750? Yes or no? Simple question. If you have taken a long futures position, will you be in profit or loss? What is the strike price?
Check.
Strike price is 700. The spot price tomorrow, if it happens to be 750, you have the right to buy it at 700. Definitely, you will be in a profit of 500. But in few options, when you come, if the spot price is 750, you see the profit is only 35.3. Why is the profit lesser than in an option scenario, future scenario?
Because of the price which we have paid to buy the option.
It is because you already paid 14 rupees 75 paise as the premium. So that premium is getting adjusted and your net profit is only 35. So what you have to understand is, for making profit in options, you have a lag of premium that you are paying. How much of a premium that you pay, that premium will get covered, and only after that you will actually enter into the profits. So a very aggressive speculator may probably, if they don't want to take the cover or a protection, I know maybe they will go blindly for a futures because there is no premium. It is cheaper for a futures position. But it has a potential for severe losses. But you come for an option position, definitely. Only thing is that you have to sacrifice an amount of premium. Otherwise, you are lost. These things I am not telling you from a trading perspective. These things I am telling you from the fundamental perspective. In trading perspective, it is basically, again, you look at, how the premium peaks in the market, which will come later. Okay, fundamentally, this is what we will have to understand. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then very quickly in 10 minutes, we'll just wind up.
Sir, it's clear.
Yeah?
It's clear, sir. It's clear.
It is clear. Okay. With your permission, let me just extend for 10 minutes. What is this position called? What is this position called?
Long position, long position.
Yeah, this is long position, and the option position is called long call. Option position is called long call. Please be careful, we'll all lose time. Okay, so this is called a long call position. Okay, so who is the counterparty for a long call?
Person
Short
who
call.
is having short call.
Option right.
Long call, the counterparty is short call.
Short call.
Okay, so this is can you draw? Can you tell me this is? Okay. Long call. By short call. Okay. Short call. Can you just tell me what would be the payoff?
$670
premium amount.
70 rupees.
At
Will the
670,
short
short
get
call
any
will not.
profit? Will the short call get any profit?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The premium
14.7.
that is given is in his hand. That is his profit. And at 770, will the short call get any profit?
Sir, it will be a loss.
It will be a loss. So how do you define the payoff for the short call? This will be minimum of
Minimum.
no. What is it?
Spot. Strike price minus spot price.
Again?
Minimum strike price minus spot price.
And what is the strike price? 700. Okay, 700.
Minus.
Spot price. Okay.
Or the second number will be, of course, the premium, which premium.
Yeah. It's strike price minus spot price. It's strike price minus spot price.
I'm not able to.
Strike price is 700. 700 minus this thing is this thing plus this or
the strike
let's
or
see.
the option
Correct.
premium.
Yeah, I think it should be correct. I got the form. And save this one. Added. What is F2? F2. Okay, F5 had it. H. So for the short call, the maximum profit would be the premium. You cannot get more profit than the premium. And what would be the maximum loss? Maximum loss can be technically it can be infinite as the price increases.
Unlimited.
How do I draw? How do I draw the this thing? How do I draw? I'm in a meeting. Call me later.
That's not.
This is the payoff for a short. So now look at the diagram and try to infer the meaning. This is this line. The zero is no profit, no loss equation. So what is the strike price? Strike price is 700. As the price of the underlying asset keeps on moving above 700 to 710, 720, 730, 40, 50, 60, 70, etc. The long calls profit will start increasing and the short call losses will also start become more and more. As the price falls below the strike price, the long call will enter into a loss position and his loss will be limited to the maximum amount of paid. And on the other hand, for the short call position, profit will start increasing and the maximum profit will get sealed at the premium. Yes. This is called a long call and a short call. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So what is a long call?
Obligation to buy, not sorry, rights to buy, but not an obligation.
Long call is the position which gives the buyer the
right to buy,
but
not an
to buy
obligation.
without an obligation to buy. Remember, all these things applies. He pays the premium, all these things. Is it not? And who is a short call?
He's
He's
having
the
the
Counterparty to long call.
where he has to listen to the decision of the long call. He only receives the premium and listens to the decision of the. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Once again, what is long call?
Right to buy. Right to
Not an
buy the
obligation, without
securities.
obligation.
Yeah, right to buy. Right to buy. Now, instead of procuring the right to buy, if I say that I want the right to sell, that is called a long put position. And the counterparty to that is called a short. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Long call gives you the right to buy without an obligation to buy it, and the counterparty is obliged to listen to whatever. Long call and short. Okay, so if I put it here once again, long call buy.
Sir, is the break even the same for short call also?
A break even would be same because in options it is always a zero sum. Your profit is my loss. See, the long call's profit is this much exactly. The distance from here to 0 will be the distance from here to 0. So if the long call makes 200 rupees profit, short call makes a loss of 200. The long call makes 14 rupees profit, short call makes profit at 40 rupees. It's a zero sum game. So therefore the break even will be at the same point. Okay. So without any obligation. So short call is the long call results. Okay, other things I am not writing. What is it? Long call pays the premium, short call receives the premium, etc. All those things are okay. What else? What else? What else?
Loss you can write. Loss and profit.
Long. Yeah, loss you can write. Loss. Correct. So limited loss. Limited loss.
Selling.
Okay. Here the profit is what? Or rather the payoff is enough. Okay. So just for understanding we can write, but that is not a standard usage. Anyway. Now what about long put? See, instead of right to buy, instead of right to buy, I go for a right to sell. This is called a long. Are you getting it? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
So instead of a right to buy, you want a right to sell. But actually, then the process is called a long. And the counterparty to that is a okay. So, do you want to discuss the payoff for long put today, or is it too much? Yeah, if you want 10 minutes, I can discuss the payoff, or we can discuss it tomorrow. Whichever you want to get.
Tomorrow, sir.
Okay, no, sure. Because this takes time for you to settle in the mind. That's why I'm also going slow and repeating the discussions. See, 5 days you have this discussion. So ideally, if you could spend at least 2 hours, practically, let us say at least 2 hours. So though we talk about the 5 hours after one day, before next day, leave that at least 2 hours we could spend. Okay, 2 hours relaxing or high concentration, at least 1.5 hours you spend. In 5 days, you should be reasonably able to understand the positions and the payoffs. You also know this is not something which we can bypass and understand. This is something which need to be settled in the mind. Okay. So I'm stopping here with a long call position and the short call position. I'll explain to you long put and short put tomorrow. I'll take 15 to 20 minutes for that. We'll have some work, other payoff exercises tomorrow, and we'll immediately go to what is it? We'll immediately go to options patterns. Okay. So Usually in FDP, we go take at least 2.5 days for reaching options. But since this is an advanced module and we have already completed the elementary module earlier, I think I had to keep a fair this thing for those who already completed the earlier thing. So that's why we are relatively faster moving into the strategy session. But then, any doubt otherwise you have, you can just put it across me. We can discuss it in the session. No issue. Thank you all of you for joining. You can refer John C. Hull. John C. Hull would be the standard textbook that you can refer. There is a lot of materials available in the civics material is there, and NSC material is there. I can share you those materials, no issue. I think it is there in the WhatsApp group of the previous group. Even then, I can just post it here for reading. So please spend at least 1.5 hours as to what we have discussed. Go through the NSC website. Even if you understood or if you do not understand, please go through those NSC website. Just pick out those things as to what you want to discuss. And tomorrow, if you bring it down, we can just clarify and do.
Excuse me, sir.
Please, we'll be in 2 days. I think you should be reasonable. By tomorrow, you should, all of you, those who are new to it, also should be reasonably clear with what is options, option positions, obligations, etc. And slowly we'll be moving to facts. Any clarification so far?
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
sir,
tell me, sir.
Please provide videos, sir, because the NSC material is available in internet.
Yeah.
In Google, it may be available, the material, everything, but your explanation is very nice.
Thank you, sir. I think videos I'll share, sir. No issue, don't worry. Video I'll share.
Thank you, sir.
Video I'll share.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So I'm stopping for the day. Okay. I'll generate the link and I'll post it. Give me some time. Maybe by night I'll post the link. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow. I'll please keep a track on the schedule, the timing, etc. Please, I think there will not be any change, but still, just have a look at 8:30. If at all there is 15-20 minutes change there or here, you can get it in the link. That's why send us a link so that we can dynamically update that. So thank you all of you for joining the session. Tomorrow I think I have one session. Then the next session will be by Dr. Lakshmi from Hyderabad. She's also she will be starting. No, I will be starting. I think she'll be starting strategies. I'll just look at the schedule. So we'll be starting option strategies anyway tomorrow. So the first session will be in a continuation of what we're discussing today. After that, we'll start the option strategies, and that's it. Okay. So thank you all of you.